It's a long trek north, but Arsenal fans have made it knowing that tonight there's a chance to see their other team, who so captured the imagination this season. For Rovers, the Carling Cup is a real chance of a trophy. But their fans need to help lift the team out of the doldrums after a bitterly disappointing recent run.
We know you can do it!
Is he right? You can find out. We're live at Ewood Park for the second Carling Cup quarter-final. It's Blackburn against Arsenal. It's live on Sky Sports 1. Ewood Park, it's Blackburn Rovers against Arsenal. It's a fixture that is so often just that, explosive. Let's find out. Here are our commentators this evening for this Carling Cup quarter-final. Brian Marwood and first, Ian Dark.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Well, the festive spirit might be just a distant rumour here. This fixture has something of a combustible history with Arsene Wenger and Mark Hughes not exactly on each other's Christmas card list. Let's check the teams for you. Blackburn have hit a sticky patch of late, as you've been hearing. They regard this game as the ideal chance to relight their fires. Benny McCarthy is dropped tonight after a barren spell, and Matt Derbyshire gets his first start for 2.5 months. With Brett Emerton suspended, Stephen Reid will be at right back, and David Dunn, a League Cup winner with Blackburn in 2002, comes into the midfield. Well, even in such a tough-looking quarter-final, Arsenal stick to their policy of playing fringe players in the League Cup. Of this side, only striker Nicholas Bentner appeared against Chelsea on Sunday, and then only as a late substitute. The average age here is under 21, but 8 of this side have played in the Premier League, and 6 are full internationals. 18-year-old Mark Randall gets his first start for the club. That's because Theo Walcott turned up for the team coach this morning, looking dreadful, according to the medical staff, and was sent home. There are the substitutes tonight. Blackburn, interestingly, with Jason Roberts back involved tonight. He was left out at the weekend after having a transfer request rejected last week. Arsenal with 5 teenagers on the bench, including another lad from Barcelona, Fran Merida. Well, these fans think this might be an ideal chance to get a sniff of Wembley this season, Brian.
Well, it's been an interesting season, hasn't it, for Blackburn Rovers? I mean, of late, 1 win in the last 7 games is certainly a poor return for them, having started the season so well. So this is a good test for this set of players and also Mark Hughes and his coaching staff, because this quarter-final game tonight, then they've got Chelsea at the weekend in the league, so they really need to get their season back on track, and this is a good opportunity for them. I think we shouldn't be fooled by Arsenal's selection policy. Even though there's a lot of young players there, I think they've grown up rapidly in the last 18 months, and I think that they can come to places like Blackburn, and I don't think the physical side sort of intimidates them as much, but I'm sure Blackburn will try and make it as fast and as furious as possible early on.
Robbie Savage making his 100th appearance for Blackburn Rovers tonight. Might be an important figure in that midfield battle. Pretty strong Blackburn side, and of course, however you dress it up, this is basically Arsenal's reserve side. But there's a bit of crisis talk around Blackburn. Just reading the local paper tonight, Mark Hughes is not happy with the way that several of his players have been performing of late. Philippe Senderos captaining Arsenal tonight. In the last round, rather bizarrely, it was the goalkeeper just behind him, Lukasz Fabianski, who got the job after Gilberto seemed to want it that night. Fabianski, the skipper, in only his 2nd appearance for the club, rather oddly. He
looked very nervous that night. I was commentating at Bramall Lane, and I thought that that would be something I'm sure Mark Hughes will be instilling in his players beforehand. You know, he's a young, inexperienced keeper. You know, put him under pressure early on. Santa Cruz is a very powerful centre forward, so it's important the likes of Bentley and Pedersen get the ball early. They spread the play, they've got good width, and if they can rain crosses down on that youngster, then it'll be very interesting to see how he copes for the first 15-20 minutes of this game.
Some people have poured scorn on Arsenal fielding weakened sides in this competition, but they are bidding to reach the semi-finals for the 4th time in 5 years here. Blackburn will fancy their chances though, but it was at this stage last year that Arsenal went to Anfield and beat Liverpool 6-3 in one of the results of the season. What happens tonight is coming up live for you. Carling Cup quarter-final action here. Well, Arsene Wenger and Mark Hughes, has been a bit of a war of words between them this season. What was it Arsene Wenger said earlier in the season after the 1-1 draw? Blackburn had a desire for violence. Mark Hughes didn't like that much. He's been speaking about the dark arts practiced by managers of the top clubs. Says they get preferential treatment from referees. That was in his press conference yesterday. So this one has been stoked up a bit, as if it needed stoking up. Big test for the Arsenal youngsters, even though plenty of them have got a fair bit of pedigree already behind them. Traore laying this one back to Senderos, who's the skipper tonight. Remember, Blackburn Rovers shipped 5 goals at Wigan at the weekend. That came as a nasty shock, and picked up another red card for Brett Emerton, who's suspended here. Might be a busy night for Mike Riley, possibly, Brian?
I would have thought so. I think early stages it will be physical, and let's hope it will settle down. I think if Arsenal get some time and room, and we've seen what they're capable of doing with the football, you know, don't underestimate Blackburn's qualities as well. Already the boys were talking about the likes of Bentley and Pedersen, and this fella on the ball, Santa Cruz, has certainly started life well.
Got a hat-trick in 16 minutes at the weekend. Roque Santa Cruz, big Paraguayan, on the losing side. First time that's happened in the Premier League since Dwight York did it for Aston Villa in a 4-3 defeat at Newcastle back in 1996. Here's an early free kick for Blackburn Rovers. Warnock playing it in. Samba heads it down, Senderos gets it away. This game coming up only 50 hours since the end of the Arsenal-Chelsea match at the weekend. But the whole starting 11 are back at home watching this on television, being rested ahead of the busy holiday programme. Bentley here, the former Arsenal player, of course, breaking into the box. Wouldn't quite sit down for him to hit it in the way he wanted.
Well, his first touch is exquisite. I mean, he just takes his ball out of the air from Warnock and just flicks it over the head of Traore. Unfortunately for him, he just can't quite get away from a couple of Arsenal players, and he's never quite settled in terms of his strike on goal. But what a fabulous first touch that is. Such a great shame he couldn't quite find the finish to match. But he's certainly going to be a threat tonight. Arsene Wenger knows all about him. And if Blackburn can get decent width to their game, you know, Bentley on the right-hand side, Pedersen on the left, they both have the qualities to provide good ammunition to the front two.
Loose ball in there from Diara, one of those players who's said recently in an interview with a French magazine that he is a little unsettled, wants more chances. There's a challenge from Bentley, who's got a point to prove maybe to Arsene Wenger tonight, to go elsewhere to make his name in football, having been on Arsenal's books as a kid, of course. Stephen Reid trying to pick up Derbyshire's run. It's a big chance for Matt Derbysshire tonight. He hasn't had too many starts this season.
Wasn't a bad ball, you know. I think that Senderos just allowed Derbyshire to run off him. Has to be very careful, because Derbyshire will work the channels. Senderos certainly just trying to get his season back on track. He's been suffering with injuries.
Armand Traore. Nicely done by Bentley. Traore using his pace to try and get there. They seem to have a way of producing left backs, don't they, Arsenal?
Well, they do. I mean, Traore's the next one in line, isn't he? I think that he really is an emerging talent. I think the problem he's going to have is Clichy in front of him, who is certainly very young in his own right. So the opportunities, I'm not quite sure where they're going to come from for the young Frenchman.
Santa Cruz with the header on for Blackburn Rovers, away by Song, who you seem to think might make up into a central defender rather than a midfield player at Arsenal. Bentner, nice idea, trying to feed Diaby. Stephen Reid is back there. It's good to see him fit again. Stephen Reid, he made his first start for 16 months, had a nightmare recently with injuries as Stephen Reid, but back now. Good player too. Diara. Spread towards Randall on that far side, only 18 years old, lad from Milton Keynes, getting his first start tonight for the Gunners. Big night, I'm sure all his family and friends are watching this and hoping for the best. Here he is on the ball now, Randall. Nicely worked, Bentner. Diaby! It's in! Arsenal are ahead! Abu Diaby with the goal for Arsenal after only 5 minutes of action here.
Well, it almost looks a miss-hit, doesn't it? But it doesn't matter how it goes in the back of the net. Lovely build-up play. The youngster certainly played his part, Randall. What a clever little ball that was inside to Bentner. And he really flights a beautiful ball to the far post. And Diaby almost just sticks out his left leg, hoping that he gets the right sort of contact, and he certainly does that. He just loops over Brad Friedel. What a fantastic start. In the opening 5 or 6 minutes, Arsenal get a massive breakthrough, and that will certainly settle them down on what is a potential cauldron of an atmosphere.
What a start for this young Arsenal side. And Diaby, who's very right-footed, hit that with his left foot, but it was perfectly placed.
Well, it was, and I think take nothing away from the build-up on that right-hand side. You know, Bentner has been prominent in these opening minutes, but a superbly flighted ball. You know, Arsenal really only had one player that was capable probably of scoring a goal, and that was Diaby in the position that he was in. So Bentner had to really find him with fantastic accuracy, and he certainly did that.
Randall wins the ball well again, and into Denilson. Randall has made a very confident start, finds Bentner, lovely quick feet from him. The goal scorer, Diaby. It's played deep. Denilson was in there. And Arsenal have made a really confident start. Song gets this one away. And Blackburn are going to have to do what neither of the two sides that Arsenal have faced so far in the League Cup this season have done, and that's score against them. Beat Newcastle 2-0 and Sheffield United 3-0 away from home.
It just killed your game plan a little bit, Ian, because you know, I'm sure Mark would have wanted his side to be nice and bright and fast and furious in the early parts of this game, you know, putting Arsenal under pressure. Now Arsenal have got that goal, just settles them a wee bit.
Well, it's not like Blackburn, but they've been leaking goals lately. Villa got 4 here. They led in 5 at the weekend at Wigan. 1-0 down after 5 minutes tonight.
Well, sometimes you can analyse goals conceded time and time again, but you also have to concede on occasions that the opposition do score good goals, and there was a lot of quality about the goal. In terms of the ball in from Nicholas Bentner, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes from Diaby, but you know what he didn't do is he didn't go and thrash at the ball. He just made sure that he got a good contact, a good solid contact.
Placement did the trick, didn't it? Well, won by Diara, on towards Bentner. Slick football from Arsenal. Here's Bentner. Blackburn's defence parting of the ways. He's hit the bar. That was nearly number 2. Blackburn at the moment are all over the place back there. Justin Hoyt.
Well, you can see why they leaked 5 goals at the weekend, Blackburn. If this is how they play, you know, they really are getting drawn into so many poor positions at the back.
Confidence is low, maybe, too, among the 2 central defenders, Samba and Nelson, who've looked terrific signings for Blackburn until just recently. They're going for the jugular a bit here, Arsenal. This time, Hoyt's ball has asked a bit too much of Randall.
Well, Bentner keeps dropping off Christopher Samba, and Samba's got a real problem here because he's taking him into an area where he doesn't want to be. Look at him. He's really out of position there. The 1-2. Nelson's frightened to come over because he knows that then Eduardo will be left free. And it was real audacious chip towards the far post, wasn't it, from Bentner, that very nearly caught out Brad Friedel yet again. Playing some superb stuff, Arsenal, at the moment.
Diara. Because this is the competition, isn't it, for a lot of this side. They want to get to Wembley. Arsenal did reach the final, of course, last time. Took the lead 2 against Chelsea before losing it. Stephen Reid, and Blackburn's currently fragile confidence is on full display early on.
On everywhere you look on this field, it's an Arsenal player that's dominating. 10 minutes gone. Probably Mark's quite thankful that it's only 1-0 at the moment, because Arsenal are really strutting their stuff, playing some terrific football, dragging players all over the place. It's very difficult to get close to them when they're in this sort of mood.
This is played towards Roque Santa Cruz. Song did well with his dreadlocked head. Morten Gamps Pedersen. Santa Cruz again. It's not really away. Now it might be. Diara, very strong. Has had a fair share of injury problems since he came to Arsenal. This is the young Brazilian, Denilson. In fact, he's the captain of the Brazilian under-19 side. He's scored, by the way, in both rounds so far. Bentner. Played on towards Derbyshire, who's offside. Diara for Arsenal to Diara. He's a full French international, picked up his 8th and 9th caps last month, but can't get into Arsenal's first team except when there are injuries, as there have been recently to Fabregas and Flamini. Justin Hoyt raiding down the right-hand side. Nelson. Oh, they've got themselves into another mess here, Blackburn. Arsenal moving the ball about with plenty of authority. Diara. He's asked a bit too much of Traore there.
Well, they're really having a battle to hang on at the moment, aren't they, Blackburn Rovers? You see how deep David Bentley is, just tracking the runs of Traore. That's how dominant Arsenal are. Both the left back and the right back are bombing on at every opportunity, and this is where they're bossing things in midfield. Denilson and Diara, I think one of the great strengths of Robbie Savage in terms of closing people down and making it very difficult for the opposition. But at the moment, him and Dunn in central midfield can't get anywhere near this Arsenal midfield.
Bentley's header goes out of touch, but he's been in good form every time he's been used this season by Arsenal. Nicholas Spencer looked bright when he came on against Chelsea in the closing stages at the weekend as well. Scored in both of Denmark's recent internationals too.
The problem Arsene Wenger's going to have with Nicholas Bentner is how to keep him happy, because probably isn't going to figure as first choice within the Arsenal side at the moment. I'm not sure how patient this youngster will be, because he's got great belief in his ability.
Eduardo back to Denilson. Randall nearly picked up Eduardo's run. Arsene Wenger has called Eduardo his secret weapon. He thinks that maybe he'll have adjusted properly to the pace of English football in the second half of the season. Not even in the 16, mind you, at the weekend, Eduardo, who's of course such a hot shot for Croatia.
He's still struggling to come to terms with the pace of the Premier League. I think that he's shown one or two moments where you think, yeah, you know, I can understand why he's got such a great reputation. He's scored goals both domestically and international level, and I'm sure once he does find his feet at Arsenal, there'll be goals to come for this Arsenal side. But you know, there's plenty of options for Arsene Wenger's side. I'll tell you what, Diara started the game well, and there's talk recently about him asking for a transfer because he's frustrated at not getting enough steam outwards, but he really is pulling that area.
Bentner feeding Diara. Here's Denilson. Now Traore. Diara. High-tempo passing game from Arsenal. That's a terrific ball over to Randall from Diara, who's been everywhere in that midfield early on. Now Justin Hoyt. His brother Gavin is on the bench tonight, waiting for his debut if the call comes. Morten Gamps Pedersen. It's not one that Derbyshire can chase. He was coming back from an offside position.
They just really can't put together any real possession of their own, can they? Blackburn Rovers, which will be worrying their manager. They've been outclassed so far.
Well, Mark Hughes was saying in the local paper tonight that these next few weeks might be the biggest test of his managerial career at Blackburn, because the side haven't been going well, with only one win in the last 7 matches.
It is. I mean, I think the irony of him is he's put together a really good squad now. There's real competition for places. I think that it's trying to keep everybody happy. A couple of players in recent weeks have asked for transfers.
Well, this is the man whose goal has made the difference so far, Abu Diaby.
Well, Arsenal going to throw in this side of the field. I think that's just too easy, really. The way that Randall came off initially, and then he gets space for a second time. I mean, this is a decent finish, take nothing away from that, because this is a very, very difficult one to take on. He's just dropping in front of him. He could quite easily have skied that high and wide, but he doesn't really go to thrash it. He just makes sure that he gets a decent contact. I think he gets a little bit lucky in terms of the way the ball's looped over Brad Friedel, but certainly what Arsenal have deserved.
He looked among the most surprised men in the ground when it went in. Okay, Santa Cruz tries to lay it off to Savage. Here's Diaby again. Traore was caught there by David Dunn.
He might just escape the yellow card. It's his first challenge, David Dunn, and I think the referee gives him the benefit of the doubt. But once again, Traore showing lots of ambition to get forward, and he catches him late, and he knows as well. I mean, his hands up. He recognises the fact that it's a little bit wild on his part. He really is rampaging down this left-hand side, isn't he, Traore?
Yes, and Wenger had a word, I think, with the 4th official there. I think David Dunn counted himself a little lucky looking at that again. Traore just limping a little bit, the teenage French left back. Santa Cruz to Pedersen. Nothing working at all for Blackburn so far. That goal has really rocked them back on their heels. Lovely skills again from Lassana Diara, the former Chelsea man.
Just can't get close to them, can they, Blackburn? I mean, look at the passing, it's slick, it's accurate. It's very difficult for Blackburn to get the ball back. They are distinctly second best, Mark Hughes' side at the moment, and this will be disturbing him big time. He won't be enjoying this one bit.
He actually scored the last time these two sides met in this competition in a quarter-final here 6 years ago, and Blackburn won that 4-0. Matt Jansen got a hat-trick that night, as you might have been hearing if you were with us pre-kickoff.
Well, as a group, they have to stick together now. I mean, this is tough for them. Arsenal are outplaying them in every area of the field, and they're going to need all their spirit and determination, which they're famed for, and just holding it together and not conceding anything more.
Diaby, good idea towards Eduardo as well, cut out that by Samba. He needed to, mind you.
I'll tell you what, how close is this? Being one of the balls of the season. It's outside of his right foot. He's got the confidence to play this after his goal, and Samba just about gets there. That's a brilliant ball that would have been. Certainly curling into the path of Eduardo.
Eduardo, who scored twice in the last round at Sheffield United as well. Here's the Arsenal corner, away gratefully by Robbie Savage. It's just a question at the moment, you feel, for Blackburn, of trying to hang on in there somehow and hope the mood changes. But at the moment, Arsenal are just full of it. Alex Song, offside against Randall. Bentley, onside, Derbyshire. Santa Cruz and Pedersen waiting in the middle. Traore got the challenge in.
Well, this is the first real chance that they've had to get a number of bodies in and around that penalty spot, Blackburn Rovers. Samba will be a threat.
So Blackburn could do with something here. They've hardly been in the Arsenal penalty area so far. Pedersen, and it's bouncing around dangerously in there. It wasn't the best of punches, that from Fabianski, the Polish goalkeeper. Got away with it. Eduardo, no support. Mark Randall again. Looks like he's been playing in the team all his life, doesn't he? Justin Hoyt back to Denilson. Thought of the cross shot, didn't quite work out. And this is going to break again for Denilson. And a pretty stiff challenge from Warnock over there, and that's going to be a card, I think, for him.
Well, I think Mike Riley is just signalling to Stephen Warnock. You know, it's from behind, and we know time and time again when defenders commit this sort of challenge, and there's only going to be one outcome. You know, he gets a bit of the ball, but you just can't tackle like that now.
Fifth booking of the season. That's going to mean a suspension on December the 27th when Blackburn face Manchester City. It's away by Savage. Here's Derbyshire looking for some support. There's not much around.
He did well. He really did well, and I think that one of the disturbing aspects of Mark Hughes will be that not many of his players really want to join in at the moment because they know they are second best and very, very timid and afraid of Arsenal.
I think everybody who watches the Premier League on a regular basis knows that Blackburn are a better side than this, but they are going through a little patch where they're wondering where the next win's coming from. Diara, very strong, emerges with the ball again. Arsenal will feel maybe here that they deserve a second goal for the way it's gone so far.
Well, and what we've seen so far, I don't think anybody would deny them a second goal. They've been the best side quite comfortably. But once again, Blackburn conceding possession cheaply, and they just can't afford to do that because, you know, when Arsenal get the ball down and they're passing around them, you know, they really can't get close enough to put Arsenal under pressure. You know, Fabianski's had one thing to deal with in that 23 minutes, and that was a corner.
Eduardo. Here's Ryan Nelson. And the goalkeeper, Fabianski, went a long way there. There's a bit of a misunderstanding between him and Song, but Song did win the ball, so no alarms. There might have been in different circumstances. Samba towards Matt Derbyshire. Of course, Benny McCarthy left out tonight, and Mark Hughes saying that he's been looking a little sluggish in training as well as his recent goal drought in matches. McCarthy is on the bench.
I have to say that Diara, who's struggled to get into this side, Arsenal side, has been absolutely magnificent. They haven't got close to him, Blackburn in the middle of the park. He really is pulling all the strings for Arsene Wenger's side.
Pedersen taken out of it. Free kick for Blackburn Rovers.
Well, this is where they have to make the most of these opportunities. I don't think they're going to get too many in open play because they can't keep the ball long enough. So when set pieces come their way, they need to just take their time and hope they can get decent delivery, and they should do, with the likes of Pedersen and Bentley around the ball.
Pedersen always fancies his chances from a free kick. It would need something special from that kind of range. Bentley's there as well. More suited to the left footer, you'd think, but let's see. Bentley's right, and it's well watched by Fabianski, who looked a little worried at one point, but grabbed it okay.
It was fairly comfortable for him, wasn't it? He read the situation. So they had two decent opportunities with the likes of Bentley and Pedersen. It was very, very good with dead ball situations.
Dunn. It's Traore. Important he cut that out. That was a bit better from Blackburn. First time Dunn's really got involved in the midfield. A player who can make things happen. Scored when the two sides met in the league earlier this season, David Dunn. That was due to a fumble from Jens Lehmann, it should be said. Looks like Matt Derbyshire might have been pushed into the midfield here, Brian.
Yeah, what they're doing is Bentley's just playing off Santa Cruz at the moment. Derbyshire's come over to this right-hand side. I think the idea of Bentley playing in there is maybe just to try and stop the influence of Diara.
There's Bentley, who's now got a freer role, more central as a result of that tactical switch made by Blackburn Rovers, but a tribute to how well Arsenal have been playing in midfield, that Mark Hughes feels he has to bottle it up in that area.
Yeah, I think give Mark credit. I think he's realised that they are second best. He needs to change it.
Pedersen. Done. Fabianski, very good save. Otherwise, Blackburn were level.
Well, that's certainly better. You know, we talked about the merits of getting the ball into wide positions, because we know that they've got decent quality in that area of the field, and that's the first time that they've managed to do that, and because of it they get a good chance. I mean, straight at the keeper, you'd expect him to save it.
Here's Pedersen's corner. Did Fabianski get a touch to that? Yes, he did.
If I was Blackburn Rovers, I might just be dropping a few balls in and around the young goalkeeper just to test him. Certainly at times looked a little bit edgy.
It's only his third game for Arsenal. Bentley takes this one. Savage, best spell yet for Blackburn. Certainly not out of this yet, and then Fabianski has to make another save there from David Bentley.
That's a couple of good saves now, the youngsters made it. Certainly feel a lot better about this. A decent strike from David Bentley. He'd be disappointed if he had conceded from that sort of angle and distance.
He'd love one tonight, wouldn't he, against his old club, David Bentley. Oh, it's Eduardo, he's in here, flag stays down, and he doesn't miss, does he? Eduardo, cool as you like, and it's 2-0 Arsenal.
Well, that ball's travelled an awful long way from Denilson to Eduardo. And Brad Friedel's every right to be asking a few questions. And I'd certainly be looking at the position of Christopher Samba here, because when Denilson picks his ball up, it's far too comfortable. See Eduardo just making his run in behind the big centre-back. Stephen Reid's certainly playing him onside, but he gets himself into an awful position because he doesn't know where Eduardo is in reflection to the ball and the Arsenal striker, and it's the coolest of finishes, isn't it? It's precise, it's accurate, and it's certainly done more damage to Blackburn.
The old man of the side at 24, Eduardo, with the goal, 6 of the season, 3 in this competition, 3 in the Champions League. He's yet to open his account in the Premier League, but his chances have been strictly limited. But you could see what a clinical finisher he is there. Bentley.
Well, they've got an awful lot to do now, haven't they? Blackburn Rovers to get back into this game. The puff of the cheeks, he knows though that they've been outplayed from this opening half an hour. Arsenal really have played some superb football. They've earned the right to play. You know, I've said before, I think 12, 18 months ago, I think this Arsenal side could be bullied a little bit, but not anymore. You know, they'll stand up to whatever sides have got to throw at them in terms of physical approach. And once they've certainly gained an advantage in the game, they seem as if they have a real hunger and desire to go and put sides to the sword. And that's what they've done tonight.
Sendros gets it away. To be fair to Blackburn, their approach hasn't been over-physical or any suggestion of it, really, has it, Brian?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they haven't been able to get close to Arsenal, you know, to put them under pressure. You know, talked already about the influence that Robbie Savage has on this Blackburn side. Have you seen Robbie Savage make a tackle in this opening half an hour? He hasn't, because he hasn't been able to get close to the likes of Diara and Denilson in that area of the pitch.
We've said it before, rather frightening for the opposition that this is Arsenal's shadow side. 2-0 up here. Blackburn's problems continue. This time it's Diaby, scorer of the first goal. On by Eduardo. He was hoping maybe that Wenger had made a run into that position. He hadn't. Here's Diaby. Real frustration here for Blackburn Rovers. What do they do now? Change formation. Bentley, good idea towards Derbyshire if he can get there. Traore just doing enough to get his body across.
He's got plenty of pace, hasn't he, the left back?
Diara is aimed towards Eduardo again. He's in business again here. Warnock didn't cut it out properly. Eduardo on his favoured left foot too.
Well, the angle's against him. But his confidence, like a lot of these Arsenal players, are extremely high at the moment.
Samba. Blackburn Rovers characters in search of a plot at the moment. Stephen Reid. Bentley again. Certainly won't be enjoying this so far. He only made 9 appearances in his 4 years with Arsenal, David Bentley, but of course he can point to a couple of England caps to his name now, and there might be more to follow under Fabio Capello, who knows. Here he is now, Bentley. It's a rare loose ball from Randall, who's had an outstanding first start. He has made a couple of sub appearances before last season for Arsenal in this competition. Done. Towards Santa Cruz. Song's challenge from behind is penalised. He says, I won the ball, didn't I?
Well, he might have done, but again, there was that little challenge from behind. Santa Cruz really hasn't had a sniff of a chance, has he? Hat-trick of the weekend. Really has acquitted himself extremely well in the Premiership, but it's been so difficult for these Blackburn players. Almost bemused with it all, aren't they? You know, knowing that they have been second best, but you know, that could certainly all change. Somebody like Bentley or Pedersen can come up with something from a free kick.
They need this badly, Blackburn. Bentley lining it up. Or is it going to be Pedersen? No. He dummies. Bentley does hit it in the end, and Fabianski had to claim that. He wasn't sure where it was going. Couldn't take a chance.
I think it's definitely one for the cameras, though, the goalkeeper, isn't it? Just have a look at this. It's fairly routine stuff, but he might just have been able to take a few steps and take that a little bit more comfortably.
I think they all got the picture. Here's Denilson. There's a swagger about Arsenal here, as there was in the last round at Sheffield United, where they won 3-0 against Brian Robson's side. They get the free kick for the foul on Denilson there.
Sobering us. aspect for a lot of teams in the Premiership is that this is distinctly their second side. You know, the fact they're top of the Premier League, they're through to the next stages of the Champions League, and Arsene Wenger's now got a very, very strong squad now to pick from.
Bentner, he's one of them, of course, is seeing quite a bit of action from the bench, even in the Premier League now. Nicholas Bentner, only 19 years of age. He's a character with a lot of self-belief, but he's got a lot to have self-belief about. Justin Hoyt is Senderos. I mean, the good news for Arsene Wenger is if he does get injury, he's got this kind of quality cover all around the side.
Well, I keep hearing that Arsenal are probably not a serious contenders because they haven't got strength in depth, as say Manchester United, but you know, I'd probably beg to differ when you see performances like this from a lot of these players who aren't first-team regulars.
Of course, Eboué was injured, wasn't he, at the weekend? I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. There's a gap on the wide right of midfield, which Theo Walcott will be eyeing once he gets over his current illness. Mind you, young Randall's doing a pretty good job out there tonight.
He has done well. I mean, there's, you know, you watch Mark Randall and you can see a little bit of David Bentley there as well, can't you?
Here is Bentley right on cue, trying to find Santa Cruz. Song there. Rugged performer, of course, had plenty of experience at the top level for Charlton in the later stages of last season in the end in vain effort to stay in the top flight.
Again, he's another player that it's going to be very difficult for Arsene Wenger to keep happy because you know he's getting to that age and stage in his career where he probably feel that he wants to be a first-team regular somewhere.
Blackburn defence have been exposed on a couple of occasions here. I'm sure Christopher Samba will be kicking himself and not cutting out that ball from Denilson, which set up Eduardo for the second, but it was a glorious pass as well. Traore looks just as quick, doesn't he, as Gael Clichy. Because there's a lot of other managers who'd love to take some of these players on loan as well in January. Whether Arsene Wenger will release him is quite another matter. Diaby eats up the ground with that long gangling stride, doesn't he? This has fallen here for Bentner. Denilson!
He's
got an eye for goal in this competition.
No, it's not a bad strike, isn't it? Bentner does very well here, but once again, you know, they contribute to their own downfall. Blackburn Rovers just giving the ball away cheaply. This time it was the skipper, Ryan Nelson. Still got an awful lot to do to work an opening. And Denilson will probably be disappointed he hasn't worked the keeper from there with his technical abilities.
Justin Hoyt. Bentley. Here's Matt Derbyshire. Blackburn have done well to reach this stage. They knocked out Birmingham, and then 3 goals to 0 that was, and then they went to Portsmouth. Looked like a tough draw, but they won 2-1 at Fratton Park. Dunn, good hit, and Senderos blocked it. He really got hold of that, David Dunn.
He's had 2 decent strikes from the edge of the box, hasn't he, David Dunn?
Savage. Song getting out of harm's way.
They'll be desperate to try and get something in this last period of the first half, Blackburn Rovers, just to give them something to believe in. Just had nothing of that. That's a fabulous goal from Eduardo that's put Arsenal 2-0 ahead. It's a wonderful searching ball from Denilson. Big question marks for me though. Samba really should have cut that out. But once he gets into this position, Eduardo, that is extremely clinical. It's past Friedel before he can almost react.
You could see Samba's reaction. I think he knew he should have had that. Just have an unhappy time at the moment, the Congolese defender, after some sterling performances after he joined the club. Bentley. Pedersen. There'll be a corner to Blackburn Rovers, who will feel that if they could just nick one, it will give them something to bite at for the second half. And they're going to take this quickly. Bentley to curl it. Fabianski looks anxiously, but it's gone behind.
Well, unfortunately for Blackburn, they've wasted the set pieces that have come their way. You can almost feel that Mark Hughes is brewing up for a very, very interesting half-time talk, because he's got 15 minutes at the interval to sort out a number of things.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, more Carling Cup action and a cracking-looking tie. Chelsea against Liverpool, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1, available in high definition as well on HD1. And right afterwards, the draw for the semi-finals of the competition. At the moment, Arsenal favourites to be in that draw from this one. Bentley, clever little ball. Derbyshire, it's a lovely move, and it's a goal too. Roque Santa Cruz strikes again. That's what Blackburn needed. It was beautifully worked by Blackburn, and they're back in business here.
Well, I felt if they could get into wide positions, that might stretch Arsenal enough that they will get some chances. Sendros is looking over at the assistant here. Well, the question whether Derbyshire's offside. I'll tell you what, he is offside, but it doesn't matter, because he plays a superb ball across the face of the goal, cutting out defenders and goalkeeper. And Santa Cruz is certainly in a rich vein of form in terms of scoring goals, gets himself into a very good position. But that is a big, big shout on the part of the assistant, and Derbyshire's right under the nose of the linesman on this near side. He didn't see it as an offside.
Bob Pollock is the official on this side. The flag stayed down. Roque Santa Cruz hits double figures for the season following his hat-trick at the weekend. He is Blackburn's top scorer. He's overtaken Benny McCarthy now. Diarby. Different kind of test now for Arsenal. That's the first goal they've conceded in the competition this season. Bentley, listen to the Blackburn fans. Can their side come back to life after what's really been a chasing, certainly in the first half an hour?
Well, they're probably just about changes Mark Hughes' team talk at half-time. It's probably not that much, because he'll know his side need to be far better than this, otherwise they're going to let in more goals. That's a lifeline for them, and they need to try and take advantage somehow.
Not a bad game though, is it, Brian?
Good game, very good game. You know, we've seen Arsenal's attractive football, we've seen some very good goals, and maybe we might just see a little bit of a fight back from Blackburn.
Ryan Nelson. Warnock. Blackburn will want to tighten up at the back though, after their recent travails, which have continued here this evening.
He's going to have to be careful, Stephen Warnock. I mean, that was another potential rash challenge.
And he's already in the book, remember. Denilson. Nobody made a run. Now there is that question mark over the Blackburn goal. Did look offside in the build-up, but they're not going to worry about that. And Bentner is taken out of it there by Samba.
He's hurt as well.
There might be a yellow card as well for Samba for that, I think.
I mean, that is a clumsy, awkward challenge, and they've both come off quite badly because of it. Bentner and Santa Cruz signalled straight away that they were in trouble, and Arsene Wenger's furious. Probably with that challenge, and also the fact that the assistant that he's talking to at the moment didn't give a flag for an offside. Once again, Samba gets himself into an awful position to defend against Bentner.
Arsene Wenger is incensed by that, but I think there will be a yellow card here for Samba. In fact, Mike Riley's holding it in his hand. Yeah, there it is. Just what you want when you've recovered, isn't it, from a knock?
I think he probably would have known that a yellow card was coming his way. Venter's back up on his feet, but he's not walking particularly fluently, and hopefully he might just recover before half-time.
Struggling a bit, Christopher Samba, but half-time is close, only a minute of added time. Denilson to Senderos, who's hit the post, but the flag's up anyway. The flag is up anyway, it wouldn't have counted.
He certainly exploited the opportunity that Samba was off the field, and no one really looks to pick up Senderos, but that is an offside. I mean, that is a correct decision.
Used to be a striker in his days as a lad with Servette in Switzerland. Philippe Senderos showed a bit of that old talent there. Here's Santa Cruz. It's surely out of play. Eduardo dumped unceremoniously onto the seat of his pants anyway by Stephen Reid, but the ball had travelled over the line. That's half-time. Arsenal looking very, very comfortable up until the last couple of minutes of the half, when Roque Santa Cruz scored for Blackburn Rovers. Looked like an offside in the build-up, but as we were saying, Blackburn won't care a jot about that. They needed it, and they needed it badly. Abu Diaby with the first goal, Eduardo with the second. It's nicely set up here at Ewood Park for the second half. It's Blackburn Rovers 1, Arsenal 2 in this Carling Cup quarter-final.
Blackburn will be delighted they're still involved in this after, well, most of the first half. Chasing shadows. We'll get the views of Alan and Jason when we come back in a couple of minutes. Arsenal's kids then absolutely breathtaking for much of this half. But of course, you can never count out any side when they have Roque in their lineup.
A Ford football triple this weekend on Sky Sports.
Wow!
First, it's a London derby.
That is magnificent!
Arsenal against Spurs, Saturday at 12:30.
Unstoppable!
Then Sunday from 1:30, a feast of football.
Enjoy it.
Newcastle v Derby.
Perfect.
And Blackburn v Chelsea.
Fantastic.
All live on Sky Sports 1 and in high definition on Sky Sports HD1.
Tell me what's a man to do to get close to you. I'm just alone.
Jameson Irish Whiskey.
I'm Mr. T, and this is my night elf mohawk.
Cut, T, there's no such thing as a night elf mohawk.
Shut up, fool! Like I was saying, my mohawk storms through mighty forests on his frost saber. My mohawk...
T, it's a warrior, not a mohawk.
Well, maybe Mr. T hacked the game and created a mohawk class. Maybe Mr. T's pretty handy with computers. Has that occurred to you, Mr. Condescending Director? I'm Mr. T, and I'm a night elf mohawk. What's your game?
World of Warcraft. Try it free at trywarcraft.com.
Introducing Polo Explorer, the new fragrance for men by Ralph Lauren.
Emporio Armani Diamonds, the new fragrance for women.
1, 2, 3. pressures, buy any 2 bottles of wine or champagne and we'll drop in a third for free.
Who needs roads when there's dirt? Colin McRae Dirt. Out now.
Do you seek the truth?
Yes.
Come forward. Hang on. Are those trainers? Sorry, I don't make the rules.
I thought they were quite smart.
It's all right, man. The rest of you are all right.
Go in there without me.
We're not leaving him.
Actually, mate, I think we're probably going to try somewhere else instead.
Looks rubbish anyway.
You are not going to believe what's just happened.
I know, look, 2 pens in the first 5 minutes.
Skybet. It matters more when there's money on it.
The last Carling Cup quarter-final comes up tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You can see it live on Sky Sports 1 at HD1, and that's followed immediately by the semi-final draw. We know that Everton, of course, are into the semi-finals. Who will join them? Well, it's 2-1 to Arsenal at Ewood Park. And at the City of Manchester Stadium, Spurs lead by a goal to nil. Jermaine Defoe getting a start this evening, put them in front after 5 minutes. Didier Zokora was sent off after 20 minutes. And in the reshuffle that followed, Jermaine Defoe was distinctly unamused by the fact that he was the striker who was sacrificed. Defoe taken off following that sending off. But half-time at Ewood Park, 2-1 to the Arsenal at the moment. Alan Smith and Jason McAteer have been watching with me. Will Arsene Wenger be a shade disappointed with that scoreline in a way, Alan?
Well, he will, being as if he was offside, the Blackburn goal. But he wouldn't have been disappointed with the way his youngsters played. It was men against boys, wasn't it? And the boys were winning. No hands down. I mean, it was brilliant. And embarrassing for the Blackburn lads, that first 30 minutes or so, because I talked about Arsenal starting well and everybody getting a touch, and that's exactly what they did, and just a class act.
And the perfect start for kids if they had lacked any confidence. They didn't look like they were lacking any confidence, mind you. In front after just 5 minutes. And Mark Randall getting his first start this evening, involved in that goal as well, Jason.
Yeah, we spoke about Blackburn's frailties at the back, and, you know, great little touch from Randall inside here. And it just sets into a stride to bring the cross in. And, you know, Stephen Reid gets caught in 2 minds whether to get tucked in, and Diara's there to finish it off neatly, albeit a bit of a miss it. But they all count, don't they? And it was a great finish. But Arsenal's decision-making in the first half an hour of the game has been absolutely brilliant. The movement. And what's impressed me is the stuff they've done when they haven't got the ball. You know, the defensive qualities. The likes of Denilson and Diara, the work that they've done behind the scenes has been a different class.
Almost immediately after that, Bentner hit the crossbar. It was just a matter of time, really, until the second Arsenal goal came, wasn't it, Alan?
Yeah, it looked at it for time as if they weren't going to get it. But when they did, you could just see them going away from Blackburn. But it started with a missed kick from Fabianski, but it's all about Christopher Samba's mistake, and you're just wondering why he doesn't bring the left foot round there. He's in a great position to clear it, but I think that's just a total lack of confidence by the big centre-half.
Stephen Reid, culpable at all, doesn't try to get round behind at all?
He seems to be coming on the angle, doesn't he, rather than running straight towards goal, and maybe if he had, he might have been a bit closer, but I mean, the lad who scored, he's like ice, isn't he, you were saying?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, his finish was different class.
Ice in his veins. He struggled a little bit in the Premier League to get to grips with the pace and the demands, but give him a chance, and he's deadly, isn't he?
Was there any question in your mind, Jason, then that the Blackburn goal should have been disallowed? There was a player offside in the build-up?
Yeah, I felt sorry for Blackburn, to be fair, because things just weren't happening. Little bits were falling to Arsenal and stuff, and it was just a bit of change of luck, really. I think he was offside.
It's Matt Derbyshire, it comes to him. Doesn't look like it from that angle, in truth, but
we see it from here. He is offside, and it's just that little bit of luck that I've got Blackburn back in this game, and to be fair to him, fantastic cross.
The assistant is right in line. How can he get that wrong?
I don't know.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, Mark Hughes, maybe that little pre-match moan worked in his favour about the officials. But he'll feel his team are back in it big time.
Just a very brief word about Diara. Scintillating first half hour.
He was running the show, wasn't he? We were talking about him before we came on air, and he played at right back for a few games, and he's strong there, confident. Great ball-playing skills, though. And by the way, 2 million from Chelsea deadline day. What were Chelsea thinking of?
OK. Of course, getting closer to Christmas. And as you can see, the Santa hats are on. In fact, if you're a Blackburn fan, it should be hats off to Santa, because he's the fella who's kept them in the game at half-time. They trail by 2-1.
Are we going out then?
Don't push it, Dan.
Come on. It'll be fun. Go out there in the freezing wastes. Must be mad. It's my birthday. It is his birthday. Well, why didn't you say so? Of course we're going out. Is it smart? Smart casual, probably. Ah, that's the spirit, boys.
Let's give Dan the best birthday he'll ever remember.
Come on then, guys, let's go. Go on.
Let's brighten it up.
I live life to the full. I love action. In life, on the job, I'll never allow myself to look tired, so I take care of myself and of my skin.
Hydra Energetic from L'Oreal Men Expert. It fights the 5 signs of fatigue for a lasting, healthy look. L'Oreal Men Expert.
The future of your skin is in your hands. You're worth it.
Get ready for a huge comedy with lots of balls. Balls of Fury in cinemas Boxing Day. Represent.
Dance music for people who want tomorrow's music today.
Must-have gadgets now have a must-have battery to power them. Energizer Lithium. If your digital camera can take 90 photos using ordinary alkaline batteries, then Energizer Lithium will let you take 600. Energizer Lithium. It's what's inside that counts.
Are you alive? Fuel for life. The fragrance by Diesel. Use with caution.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Available now at Tesco.
Come into Comet this Christmas for great low prices. On your left, save a total of £50 on his Homedic Shiatsu massage cushion, now only £69. On your right, save £200 on his Philips 32-inch digital 100Hz TV for £599. And get a free Sony 2GB MP3 player when you buy the Sony DB Hi-Fi for £149. Comet, we live electricals.
With unlimited access to 1 million songs from Vodafone, you'll always find the right one.
As soon as I wake up, any night, any day, I know that it's you I need to take the blues away. It must be love, 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 nothing more.
Vodafone, make the most of now.
Jameson Irish Whiskey.
We are in history now. Living it. Making it. Magic. Real magic.
It can happen every day. You just gotta want that feeling. And if you like it and you want it, you'll get greedy for it.
Nice show's over. That first goal scorer's killed it for me.
Ouch, out, come on.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Quite a week for the Arsenal, isn't it? They're in action again this Saturday, the North London derby against Spurs, 12:30, Sky Sports 1 at HD1. And then a Midlands derby from the Championship, Wolves against Leicester at 5:15, same channels. On Sunday, Newcastle take on Derby County, 1:30, live from St James's Park, Sky Sports 1 at HD1, and that's followed by Blackburn in action again, and another big name set of visitors, Chelsea, Sky Sports 1 HD1 at 4 o'clock. International game these days, isn't it? Arsenal taking the lead through a Frenchman. They went 2-up through a Croatian, but then a Paraguayan made it 2-1 to the Frenchman's team against the Welshman's team at the interval. And here come the Arsenal. Well, they never fail to surprise or impress us, do they? The kids have absolutely dominated in the first 45 minutes, but they only have a narrow advantage. Mark Hughes will have had stern words at half-time, no question about that. But his side 45 minutes away from going out of the Carling Cup. Second half commentary. Let's rejoin Brian Marwood and Ian Dark.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Jeff. Welcome back to Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers home since 1890. I wonder what Mark Hughes had to say at half-time. He was always a bit of a cup wizard, wasn't he, as a player?
Well, you just have to look at his face to probably tell you everything that he's feeling right now. You know, he's always been a fighter, a grafter, never been one to accept second best, and that's exactly what happened to his side in the first half. They're back in the game, fortuitous, but they're back in it, and they certainly need to do a lot better than they did in the first 45 minutes. Otherwise, this could be an extremely embarrassing evening for them.
Blackburn definitely back in with a shout. Remember, they do have Jason Roberts and Benny McCarthy, two strikers on the bench if they have to gamble. The tie has to be decided tonight, even if it takes extra time and penalties. No replays in this competition. Playing for a place in the semi-final of the competition. Bit of a test here for some of the Arsenal boys here, because Blackburn are back in the game. Here's Eduardo. Nicely done. Bentner showed himself well. That one's gone out of play on this freezing night up here in Lancashire, a night when it's possible to believe that global warming isn't such a bad idea after all.
It's the time when you really do wish for summer football, don't you?
We're not in shirt sleeves, put it that way. Warnock inside to Dunn. Play on, says the referee. Morton Gamps Pedersen threads it through well to Bentley, but the flag is up frustratingly for Blackburn Rovers. Do you see David Bentley as a big player in Fabio Capello's England, Brian?
It could be. I mean, I think that you know, the New England manager's talked about a clean slate for a number of players. I mean, he needs to keep proving himself week in, week out. The problem he's got is he's not at the sort of so-called fashionable clubs like Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool. So it's probably going to be harder for him to come through. But he's got the talent and the ability. Just needs to keep applying himself week in, week out.
Savage, flag is down, Santa Cruz, can he get there? He's going to get another bite at it, is he? No, it's an amazing clearance by Alex Song to save Arsenal when it seemed that Santa Cruz had to equalise.
Well, the keeper just gets something on it, but I can't understand the part that Philip Senderos plays in that move. I mean, it's route one, he really should have dealt with that initial ball forward.
Blackburn turning up the heat, Fabianski with the punch and gratefully away by Arsenal, but this is a different plot now. Bentley seems to be enjoying his freer role, not tied to the right anymore, and a pretty big influence. He's everywhere. Fabianski needs to get to this one. Santa Cruz goes there. Senderos had to be careful. He didn't foul Santa Cruz there.
Well, these are interesting moments, aren't they? You know, Arsenal really are just hanging on at the moment. And this is better from Blackburn. This is what we thought we'd get early in the first half. It's taken them an awful long time to warm into this game.
Maybe, just maybe, the confidence is beginning to course back through the veins of Blackburn after what was, well, Alan Smith said it, didn't he, at half-time? An embarrassing opening half an hour or so for them. Warnock. And this offside this time.
Well, this is a big chance, isn't it? The man that scored Blackburn's first goal, but have a look at Senderos here. You know, I mean, he just isn't aware at all. Neither is Song in terms of Cruz. And Fabianski isn't that far away from handling that outside the area, but he's just hanging on at the moment, the young keeper. He looks very nervous and edgy. He made a couple of decent saves tonight, but there's been at times where he's flapped and looked uncomfortable.
He is Arsenal's number 3 keeper, of course, behind Manuel Almunia and Jens Lehmann. Lehmann not being used in this competition and frankly not being used much at all.
Well, speaking to Arsene Wenger, you know, he feels that this boy has got some real promise, you know, and he is young. And goalkeepers, it takes them a while to mature. I remember Alex Meninga a few years ago that got his place in the Arsenal side. Struggled really for the right sort of consistency levels for the Premier League.
Senderos too long this time for young Bentner. But there can't be any more self-inflicted wounds for Blackburn here, that's for certain. They can't revisit the kind of form they were showing at Wigan at the weekend. Done long, hoping that Santa Cruz can get the better of Song again. Song with an absolutely vital clearance to keep Arsenal's lead intact. Can't go for that, Santa Cruz. He was coming back from an offside position.
Arsenal certainly being hurried, and they're not showing the same sort of composure that we saw in the first half, and because of that, they're giving the ball away cheaply now, and Blackburn are just sensing that they've got a real chance to get back into this game.
Bentner is caught late there by Nelson. Plays pulled back, and the referee, Mike Riley, sensibly just wanted to see whether any advantage accrued first. It didn't.
It's both centre-backs have given Bentner a whack. Samba in the first half and Nelson in the second. You just feel it's a more even game now, don't you? I think that we've got two sides out there.
Randall inside to Diara. Now Justin Hoyt. Nicely done by him, but he's blocked off by Pedersen in trying to go for the return ball, and Mike Riley spotted that too. Good noise around Ewood Park now. Still looking to get their slip passing game back together again. That's too long for Eduardo this time. Santa Cruz again against the Arsenal defenders. Oh, Song! Did he realise where Santa Cruz was? If he did, he was Mr. Cool, all right.
It certainly was, but it's interesting, Blackburn have gone route one there. You know, they've just gone to launch balls up towards Santa Cruz and try to get Bentley and Pedersen, Savage done. Obviously just playing off the big striker now, and the two centre-backs look a little bit uncomfortable and certainly vulnerable for that big, long, high, loping ball that has just given them some problems.
Bentley is offside. Highlight of his Blackburn career so far, a hat-trick against Manchester United in 21 minutes as well.
Just a little shuffle of the formation seems to have benefited Blackburn Rovers. He's been a lot more prominent from a more central area. bit more solid as well across the middle of the park.
Both times these two clubs have met in this competition, the winners have gone on to reach the final. Most recently in 2002, when Blackburn beat Arsenal at this stage, as you've been hearing, 4-0. Prior to that, 1967, George Graham scoring as Arsenal won 2-1 at Highbury. Got to the final that year, lost to Leeds. Flicking this one on. Warnock didn't really want to know. Diaby's challenge was a bit on the reckless side there. He didn't actually make contact with Warnock, but just as well. Now, what does the referee do here?
That's just a stupid, daft challenge, isn't it? And I think he's given him the benefit of the doubt. Mark Hughes would be saying, you know, if that was one of our players, I think you might have been very quick to issue a yellow card. This is the point he was making before the game, wasn't it? It's a rash challenge. Real contact, of course, on Warnock, just the intent.
Lucky boy, maybe, Abu Diaby there, as he really did dive in at Warnock. That's clever play by him here, though. And the French under-21 international, he's still got it somehow as well. Is that ball tied to his bootlaces?
It's a lot more competitive now. This was the type of game that Blackburn were hoping to create tonight. You know, they were just trying to unsettle and unnerve Arsenal. Didn't work for them in the first 45 minutes. All of a sudden now, the likes of Savage and Dunn and one or two others are rattling into challenges. They're getting close to these Arsenal players.
Blackburn just beginning to show their fangs a little more now. Pedersen, the flag is up here. And they are frustrated once again by that flag, held up by Andy Garrett.
He's getting the taste for it, and so's his side. I'd imagine he had one or two harsh words to say to his players at half-time, probably rightly so, because a lot of them were just admiring how good the opposition were. Well, now they really are setting about the task that he would hope they would have done from the very, very first moment.
This is boiling up quite nicely, isn't it? All Arsenal early, Blackburn clawing their way back into the argument. Diara. Dispossessed by Pedersen. Free kick here.
It's always as if they swap shirts at half-time, isn't it? Look at Blackburn now, and they're some good possession, playing with a good tempo.
Reed was trying to make a run forward. Posted it right back to can of course play midfield as well, more his natural position in fact.
Well, what Arsenal have done is they're matching Blackburn in terms of their formation. Now they're only playing with one up top in Bentner. Eduardo has just slipped over to that left-hand side to make a 5 in midfield. And that probably just about shows you the reflection in terms of the play that Blackburn have had and how Arsene Wenger's a little bit concerned at the moment.
Here's Bentley's free kick. Oh, and it lands on the top of the net. Very nearly an own goal there.
Well, it's Bentner that gets probably the final touch on this, and Fabianski can just watch here as he's grateful that the ball just goes over the bar. Got a taste for this, haven't it, Mark Hughes' side?
Here's Pedersen's corner, and how does that stay out as well? It seemed to come off Song, scrambled away. Goodness me.
Just have a look at the bodies there in front of the goalkeeper. You know, Song has touched it near post, and how that wasn't an own goal, or how a Blackburn shirt didn't get on the end of it, beyond belief.
I think it was Ryan Nelson, wasn't it? He only needed the merest touch from him, and it was the equaliser. That was almost a Houdini-like escape for Arsenal. Eduardo, lovely ball in towards Denilson. Can they get this right? It's Bentner who's the spare man. Can he make it 3? It's a fantastic block from Reed. He needed that. towards Bentner again, and Blackburn stay in touch.
Oh, it was a counter-attack, and I tell you what, if that hadn't hit Stephen Reid, then that probably is 3-1. It was an interesting challenge by Eduardo on Robbie Savage that I'm sure Blackburn might have complained about if that ball had ended up in the back of the net.
There's a thunderous atmosphere here now, and a cracking quarter-final of the League Cup. All Warnock and, well, Randall, I think the referee wants a word, and he's going to go into the book for that one. First Arsenal yellow of the night.
Well, he's late, and I think that the referee, who's right next to it, again, I don't think there's a massive amount of contact because Stephen Warnock rides the challenge, but it's a correct decision from the referee. And they really are on the back foot, the visitors at the moment.
Bentley, pressure's getting hot, and there is the equalizer. Santa Cruz again, he cannot stop scoring. That's 5 in the last few days, and Blackburn Rovers have come back to make it 2-2 here at Ewood Park.
Well, when you look at the second half, it's no real surprise. A fabulous ball in from Bentley. It's a very difficult one for any defender to deal with, but Santa Cruz gets himself in the perfect position between the two centre-backs, and it is a towering header. The keeper can do absolutely nothing whatsoever, and that has been coming. There's no two ways about that. Arsenal can have no qualms. They are distinctly second best in this second half. And it is a rampant Blackburn Rovers side. It's a far different side than what we saw in the first 45 minutes. Game on.
Blackburn are back. But here's Diara for Arsenal. What next here is Eduardo, just hustled out of it by David Dunn in the nick of time. This might not be finished yet by a long chalk in terms of scoring. Eduardo. Good strength. Bentner couldn't bring it under control. Justin Hoyt. Randall laid it back. Denilson. Now Diara. Got a tank-like quality about him, hasn't he? Lassana Diara. Denilson. Warnock got a foot in. Arsenal want their lead back. Traore. Eduardo. Denilson. No way through there, and Blackburn can break, can they? Don't say Roque Santa Cruz is going to get 2 hat-tricks in successive games. Song still going here. And Nelson across in the nick of time to stop him.
Well, that's brilliant defending from Ryan Nelson, the skipper. He spotted the danger. Well, this is a good response from Arsenal.
Now they're asking the questions again. It's up towards Bentner this time. Nelson just about reached it. But Blackburn now believe that they can pull off what would be a memorable win, and it really would be too. Remember, they came from 3 goals down at Wigan at the weekend to make it 3-3 before losing the game by 5 goals to 3. Actually, they were down to 10 men there.
Well, they certainly made a game of it, and that goal at the end of the first half was so crucial. It really was, because it got them back into the game, but it was just something for them to believe in, because they hadn't shown an awful lot of that in the first half.
These Arsenal youngsters will do a bit of growing up, I'm sure, tonight amid this atmosphere in this situation.
Great experience, invaluable.
It's kind of why Arsene Wenger picked them.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have faith in these players, he won't fluster too much about the situation. They'll be disappointed, but he'll also be looking around and just seeing who has the qualities, the mental qualities. I mean, he knows technically these players are good. What are they like in the heat of the battle when things are going against them? And that's what they've had to withstand since coming out in this second half. Well, Blackburn have been the better side. They've been more competitive. They've put this Arsenal side under pressure. Can they regain the initiative?
Here is the hero of the hour for Blackburn, Roque Santa Cruz. Derbyshire playing wide right now. Couldn't go for that, he was offside, Derbyshire. And there'll be a goal kick, a little moment of respite. There haven't been many of those in the second half.
No, Blackburn need to certainly keep this pace going. I think if they drop, then Arsenal will probably get back to strutting their stuff and keeping the football. And that might just hurt Blackburn again, and that's what Mark will be fearful of. He needs to try and get messages out to all these players. You know, they've really got themselves back into the game through hard work and sheer endeavour, but they need to maintain this tempo.
It's Ryan Nelson. Warnock, Pedersen, who looked at the flag for a moment, it stayed down. Pedersen, lovely looking ball in, Santa Cruz is there again! This time he couldn't quite get the shot away. But you just wondered for a moment. Great ebb and flow about the game now.
That was a wrong choice from Denilson there. Bentner was running away free down this right-hand side. You wouldn't like to call it now, would you? It was that close.
Stephen Reed. Savage. The mood has changed totally since the opening half an hour. Samba chipping one up towards Morton Gamps Pedersen, who was under pressure from Hoyt and won't be able to keep that in play. Won't be feeling the cold. Morten Gamps Pedersen, he used to play for Tromsø, a club up near the Arctic Circle in Norway. Arby tried to head it on. Go out of play there. Mark Hughes, who is the only man to have been a League Cup winner with 3 different clubs as a player, including this one, Blackburn. Can he do it as a manager? Here's Amon Traore's cross. And Bradfried will have to work to keep that in. I think he just about did it. It's only a throw-in, not a corner. Well played by the American goalkeeper, who's making his 164th consecutive appearance, by the way, tonight for Blackburn. Santa Cruz wins it. Stephen Reed. Pedersen's got some space. Bentley's in the middle. Derbyshire's arriving. So is Santa Cruz, and the cross is an enormous anticlimax.
That's unlike him. Normally does provide good quality. Has to work incredibly hard to get himself into an attacking position.
Well, this is the man who's put Blackburn right back in this.
That's a terrific delivery, though, isn't it, from David Bentley? You know, it really is on the spot, where a centre-forward who's got 5 or 6 yards running towards the penalty spot wants it, and he duly delivers. Terrific ending to a fantastic free kick from David Bentley.
2 gifts from Santa for Blackburn. Bentley was caught there.
Certainly having an influence, isn't he, David Bentley? Enjoying the opportunity just to roam free. One or two other players now in and around that penalty area. It's a little bit further out from the opportunity we saw that came about with the second goal for Blackburn.
Another good-looking delivery from Bentley. It comes out of Savage, who was looking to mark his 100th Blackburn game with a goal, but not that time.
It set up nicely for him, didn't it? Edge of the box. Disappointed not to work the keeper from there. But it's another chance, though, to Blackburn Rovers. Created a few of those.
Flicked on by Diara. Samba seems to have recovered his confidence after that shaky start, the Blackburn defender. Denilson, hustled out of it well by David Dunn. Song to Denilson. Savage fighting into the challenge. More of what Mark Hughes wanted from his players. He's saying pre-match we need to compete better than we have been in recent games. Blackburn now looking to do to Arsenal what they did in the FA Cup last season. Knocked them out with a late one from Benny McCarthy on that occasion. This is broken down and Samba can lead the counter. Can they get this right? Derbyshire and Santa Cruz up with him. Here is Matt Derbyshire. He's aimed towards Santa Cruz. Hoyt did well.
Good defending. Really was good defending from just north of that far post, because Santa Cruz was bearing down on goal.
Arsenal, it's their turn to break now on Blackburn. Bentner. That's for the 1-2 with Song. Bentner was taken out of it, and the free kick will be Arsenal's.
Well, Ryan Nelson just blocked him off, doesn't he? He's trying to play a 1-2. That's the ambition of Arsenal. I mean, although they've been second best since the interval, you see there that Song brought out from defence and was prepared to play a little 1-2. With his centre forward on the edge of the box.
Well, here's a chance for Arsenal to get themselves back in front again. Looks like Bentner wants to hit this, although Eduardo's left foot could come into play. It's Bentner, and it's into the wall. It's Justin Hoyt. Great pace and intensity about what has proved to be a dramatic quarter-final so far. Song coming forward from the back. Eduardo wanted it, didn't get it. Instead, it's Diaby! And it's a miscue from him, really.
That's good football, though. Again, though, Song looking to join in. When he's come out from the back, he's looked a threat.
Must have taken a deflection because it's a corner kick. Arsenal fans behind that goal, urging their side to get a third goal. Here's Diaby. The 19-year-old Denilson. Towards Eduardo, who's on the back post. It was a difficult header for him, really. And you're right, Brian, you couldn't call this from here. Onside, Matt Derbyshire. Fabianski read it well.
They've got a problem with that, you know. That's 3 or 4 occasions where they've gone long, Blackburn Rovers, and they haven't quite dealt with it, Arsenal, at the back. The sort of communication levels are particularly high, but they seem to be getting caught out.
Work this. Warnock. Only Santa Cruz to aim at. Senderos makes sure it doesn't get to him. That's a disappointing header from Derbyshire. players want this place in the last four so badly here.
That's what I've been talking about, really. You look at Matt Derbyshire there now, it looks fairly comfortable for Arsenal. Senderos just runs out. Not really aware of where Traore is, where Hoyt is, or anybody else. You know, if he's going to be the last defender and he's going to make that call, you know, he's got to get everybody else out with him as well and make sure that Matt Derbyshire's offside.
Well, what a season he's having, Roque Santa Cruz. He only got 3 goals in 36 games for Bayern Munich last season, but he seems to be very well settled in this part of Lancashire.
Well, he got goals early on, and that helps any striker, doesn't it, to settle down into a new environment. You know, he stayed reasonably fit. I mean, there was question marks, wasn't there, about whether he'd play enough games, but certainly proven a lot of people wrong. I think I've been quite impressed about his mobility as well as his goals.
Pedersen, no, this isn't going to count this time, offside. Santa Cruz is on the end of everything, isn't he?
It's almost like a magnet to him, isn't it? Really enjoying his football, you can see there, and his body language, his movement has been good. Certainly got an eye for goal.
Traore back to Denilson. Arsenal still intent on playing their passing game, the only way they know how to play, of course. It's Bentner. Challenge from Nelson, who was sent off when these two sides met in the league earlier this season, 6 minutes from the end. Indeed, there have been red cards in the last 2 Premier League clashes between these two clubs on this ground. Gilberto got himself a red card as well. He didn't travel, incidentally, for this one. Presumably being held up for the busy, hectic Christmas programme. Traore, oh, that's going to be maybe a yellow card for Reid here.
Yeah, it's late, isn't it? And again, I think the referee, it's a simple one for him to give. And he recognised that straight away. Stephen Reid looked over, knew what the outcome was going to be. I haven't seen Traore get forward as much in this second half, and that's probably a tribute to the way that Blackburn have played. Hasn't had the opportunity to raid as much as he did in the first half on that left-hand side, but another emerging talent. It's an interesting place for a free kick, though, for Arsenal. Reid caught him high.
He's going to make a change here. Young Nasser Balazite, 17-year-old Dutch striker, is going to be introduced for only his second appearance for Arsenal. Treatment for Traore as this free kick is about to come in. Driven across, Senderos was in there, it only needed a touch, and it found itself in Friedel's arms instead.
Well, we're talking, and rightly so, about the quality of David Bentley's free kick, but have a look at this one from Denilson. That flashed right in front of Brad Friedel, any sort of touch. That's all that was needed from Senderos. So difficult to defend, though.
Denilson again. Nearly threaded it through to Eduardo. Samba this time was on duty to some effect.
He's certainly defended a lot better in this second half, hasn't he, Christopher Samba? He was all over the place at times and cost his side goals in the first half. His positional sense has been a lot better.
Here is Samba. He cost the club £400,000 from the German side to Berlin. Now Pedersen. Savage, nicely worked so far from Blackburn. Traore's got to get that out of there, and does for the corner.
Well, Savage just runs off to Denilson. It's poor play from the young Brazilian. And needs to concentrate better than that. Savage gets himself into a good position. It's a teasing cross. Well, they haven't looked comfortable, have they, from set pieces? Arsenal got enough height in and around that penalty spot to really give Arsene Wenger's side problems.
Will Blackburn's extra experience tell late on in this game? Fabianski elects to punch. He might have caught that. Savage against Santa Cruz. Fabianski, good hold.
Yeah, that's better goalkeeping. A real mixed bag, hasn't he, this evening? The goalkeeper. It's very nervous and edgy at times, and he's made one or two important saves.
Traore towards Eduardo. Misunderstanding here between him and Traore. We're what? About 11-12 minutes away from extra time, and remember, there would be a penalty shootout if it came to that, if the scores are still level. At last, the substitution Arsenal have been waiting to make for a few minutes, and off comes Mark Randall's done well tonight, taken the eye and was involved in the first goal, to be replaced by 17-year-old Nasser Barazite, who made a bit of a name for himself by scoring against Spurs reserves of all people in his first appearance in an Arsenal shirt.
Mark Randall can be very pleased with what he's contributed to the game tonight. It's a real quality player.
Look at this run from Diara. Trying to forge through the central area now. Bentley. Denilson, I think yellow card coming up for that.
Yeah, again, it's a poor challenge, and Mike Riley, there's no alternative really but a yellow card. Denilson.
Five yellow cards. Mike Riley's kept the lid on this. It's never threatened to really boil over. It's been a cracking game, really. Reed. Fabianski's got to hold that, he does. No 6-3 hammering in the quarter-final this year for Arsenal as they did at Anfield last season. Mind you, we did wonder early on.
I'm sure Mark Hughes probably thought very much the same. Probably going to be a damage limitation exercise at one point, but certainly changed the game completely in the second half. Blackburn have done superbly well.
Song's clearance was charged down, it's fallen to Derbyshire and deflects behind for the corner.
Well, Song just apologising to his teammates, and he has every right to do that. You know, the first rule as a defender is don't take chances in your own defensive third. That's exactly what he did.
Flicked off Senderos behind. It was a corner as Derbyshire looked to find a little gap on the near post. Here comes the corner. Fabianski goes for it. His punches downwards. Good work from Eduardo, helping his defence. Senderos, and this time off Song and crazily into the arms of Fabianski. Talk about ping pong.
Well, it's fast and furious, isn't it? But the quality has been terrific, considering the pace that we're watching this game at.
Here's young Barazite with his first involvement. Back to Denilson. Traore. Denilson again. No wonder they gave him a new 5-year deal a couple of months back. Strolled around that midfield looking classy all night. Barazite. Now Justin Hoyt. Worked the little triangle. Barazite gets a bit of pace on his cross. It was a good idea. Justin Hoyt had come forward from right back. Bentley's misplaced pass. Bentner. Bound to be a few tired legs and maybe minds now. Bentley for Santa Cruz.
They're just leaning on the back of Song, but once again, you know, they're really intent on dropping that ball in behind the two centre-backs. It's paid dividends in this second half of Blackburn.
Much improved performance from Blackburn. You do feel that goal they got just before the break, with more than a hint of offside about it, was absolutely vital.
Tell you what was probably also very important was Mark Hughes' team talk.
Edison's cross too near the goalkeeper.
I'm sure he rattled into one or two of his players at the interval, you know, and said that you've been distinctly second best and you need to go out there and give a performance in the second half. Otherwise, you really are going to get turned over. And they've been fantastic. They really have responded well.
Yes, he'll be much, much happier. Mark Hughes, he was the October Manager of the Month award winner. Talk about the old curse of the Manager of the Month award, because Blackburn totally lost their form after that. But they might be just getting it back here. Got Chelsea on Sunday, and that's on live on Sky Sports as well.
Blackburn play against Chelsea like they have done in this second half, then Avram Grant's team are going to be in for a real test this weekend.
Don't forget, Arsenal in action again in the North London derby from the Emirates Stadium. 12:30, Sky Sports 1, HD1, Saturday lunchtime. Make a date for that. Pedersen plays this in. Song is there again. No handball there. Some members of the crowd, and only the crowd, seem to think there was. Done. Cracking stuff from him. Comes out to Savage. Song is there once again. He's had a really good game back there in that defence. Alex Song, the nephew of Rigobert Song, formerly of Liverpool and West Ham.
Just look at the challenges now that Blackburn are making. They're getting far closer to Arsenal, and they look such a better side because of it.
Strange old ball by Senderos, picked up by Warnock. Look at Barra's right there. Forging run from Diara, and then the pass was misplaced, but somehow Bentner won it back again. Denilson. Anything this late likely to be decisive. Eduardo. Diaby. Traore. Looks dangerous. Eduardo couldn't get his head to it.
What a ball that was. What a ball. I mean, he's only got one player to pick out, the youngster. But he really did fizz this in towards Eduardo. You can see there that it's only Croatian striker that's anywhere near to that ball. He had to be so precise and accurate. He isn't too far away from it. Well, full credit to both sets of players. They really are going for the win here. They're not settling for extra time.
Blackburn get the free kick. We've said a terrific fight back from them, but it's worth remembering and reminding ourselves too that the average age of the Arsenal squad, that is the 16 players that they brought tonight, is under 20. 19 3/4, and Arsene Wenger can only be encouraged, really.
I'm not sure there's too many sides in the Premiership can put out a team of that average age and get the sort of performance that we've seen tonight, particularly in that first half. He's seen a different side though of his team tonight because they've stood up to the pressure. It's been difficult for them. They've conceded a goal in this second half, and they've had some uncomfortable moments, but they've stuck at it.
Having said that, it would be a hammer blow for Arsenal if Blackburn were to turn this thing around. A bit of a miscue from Sam, but it didn't matter. Diaby, strong play on, says the referee. That could be vital. Here's Eduardo. Nelson had to reach, and reach well. Song's header has fallen for Bentley, and well, it was Diara's challenge, and I think he's going to get a yellow card for it.
Well, Song's dropped Diara right in it there. I mean, it's a poor header to make. And Diara then scrambling. He had no real choice, did he? Because he knew that if David Bentley got a decent first touch, he was away from him and had a real goal-scoring chance. So he's taken a yellow card for the team.
3 yellow cards each now. If Diara does want away from Arsenal, he's not playing like that at all, is he? Pedersen. It's a good-looking ball in. Roque Santa Cruz looking for his hat-trick and the winner, and it was a miscue.
What a chance. What a chance. But Sendros goes to sleep here because Nelson just gets away from him. I mean, Pedersen just sticks a ball in the danger area, and you can see there Sendros really struggling to make up ground, and Santa Cruz, you'd have put your money on him scoring from there, the form that he's in at the moment.
I think the whole match flashed before his eyes then, Roque Santa Cruz. Big chance, not taken. It looks like we're headed for extra time, or are we? Warnock's clearance, not too accurate. That's Traore again, it's looked very impressive, the left back. Bentner, in behind here, Nicholas Bentner! That's good defending from Blackburn Rovers.
Brilliant defending, I tell you what, the skipper makes up an awful lot of ground there to get across. You see that his central defensive partner was out of position yet again.
It's been a breathless tie, this. And it looks like we're going to get another half an hour of it, but we have 3 minutes of added time. Not this time for Eduardo and Arsenal. Arsenal 2 goals ahead in this game, but Blackburn Rovers have come back hard at them.
Well, it's been a great response. I'm sure that Mark Hughes had 1 or 2 harsh words to say at the interval, and his side have responded. That's what he'd have been looking for.
Number 27, Matt Derbyshire. Number 10, Benny McCarthy.
Well, on comes Benny McCarthy, who came up with a stoppage time winner when these two sides met in an FA Cup replay here last season. It was voted Blackburn's goal of the season. The South African left out tonight, dropped after a bit of a goal drought recently, might have a point to prove.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he responds. He wouldn't have been happy, would it, losing his place in the side, but the only way you can answer that is by performing on field, and he hasn't done as well this season as he did last, but it looks as if they'll probably go back to 4-4-2 now, Blackburn Rovers.
And here is Benny McCarthy involved straight away. Senderos stood firm. Barazite for Arsenal. Look at the challengers flying in now. And he's just caught in the face. Denilson there, who's already been in the book, getting involved with David Dunn and Mike Riley. With the players all surrounding him, is just trying to tell them all, go away, I'm going to make a decision here. But what will it be?
He could be in real trouble.
Could be in hot water.
He could be in massive trouble. I mean, somebody's got to just settle the players down here. You know, Stephen Reed's just ran 30 yards to try and calm things down. Song's got incensed with it, but that's a poor challenge from Denilson. There's a little bit of afters as well, which is involving Dunn, and Savage comes across. Big moment here.
Denilson already yellow carded. Does he get a second one? Are Arsenal going to be down to 10 men?
The referee's got his hand in his pocket. You get the feeling the inevitable's just about to happen. I think it's going to be a red card.
It is.
It's a straight red.
He's gone. The young Brazilian has gone. Off goes Denilson in stoppage time here, and it looks like Arsenal will have to play the extra time.
I'll tell you what, the linesman's having a word with Mike Riley, because I think there could be still some further problems for 1 or 2 Blackburn players, and I think it might be Robbie Savage.
He's got a yellow card out here for Savage by the look of things. Yeah. Another red card in this feisty fixture.
Well, Arsene Wenger, we talked about how he would see his side respond under difficult times. There's one or two lively challenges, nothing nasty. I mean, Savage has just got in there quite strongly, but that's a two-footed challenge. I mean, that's a stupid one to make.
McCarthy heads it in there. Here he is again. It's Samba this time. Can Arsenal break quickly? Well, what drama here right at the end. Confirmation that Denilson has been sent off. That's only the second red card this season for Arsenal, the 70th of Arsene Wenger's reign. Look at this from Justin Hoyt, showing the kind of speed there that his parents used to show. His mum was an Olympic sprinter, his dad in the Commonwealth Games, and he was still full of it in, what is it, 95th minute here. Diara. The pendulum has swung against Arsenal in this game, and there is the full time whistle. There will be extra time, and if it's still level, penalties. Arsenal were all over Blackburn in the early stages, scored 2 goals, Diara and then Eduardo, but Roque Santa Cruz has scored twice to put Blackburn back in business. Extra time is coming up.
Christmas Day on Sky Sports.
All aboard the showboat.
Pants on.
Are you single?
Yeah.
I love Christmas.
We feel good, dude. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Mess, I'm catching it. Move further away.
Unbelievable, Jeff. He's hit that like a train.
Good morning.
Morning. Christmas Day on Sky.
Beer, the imported 4% lager. Beck's quality, Beer%.
Why gamble with your choice of online casino? CasinoChoice.co.uk helps you choose a safe, trusted and fair online casino and poker room. And as we've been recommending UK casinos since 2001, we can give you sound advice. So visit CasinoChoice.co.uk today.
Pour homme. Essential. Red. Le Cas Fragrances.
さあ挑戦者の番だ。エースのスピードとダイヤモンドの5ヒット。合計で21だ。ウィントンキー。Let's play.
I love you, Steve-O, but not enough to let you eat my corners and my bookings.
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
One remaining Carling Cup quarter-final to come. Tomorrow, Chelsea take on Liverpool at Stamford Bridge from 7 o'clock. The semi-final draw will follow that at approximately 10 o'clock live on Sky Sports 1 and HD1. At Ewood Park, as you can see, we're ready for extra time. Arsenal were 2 goals to the good Blackburn battling back with 2 Santa Cruz goals, and Denilson of Arsenal sent off in added time. They're down to 10. Let's rejoin our commentators, Brian Marwood and Ian Dark.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, it's quite a night here at Ewood Park as we just check again on this sending off for Denilson. Here's what happened.
Well, it's a poor challenge, isn't it? I mean, he's two-footed. You know, the arms were failing as well, and then Robbie Savage gets involved. He raises his arms. He gets a yellow card for his troubles. But, you know, the young Brazilian's got to go. It's a straight red. You know, it's a dangerous tackle.
He'd already been booked, of course, so he's gone, Denilson.
Well, full marks to Blackburn Rovers, and they've turned it around. They were distinctly second best in the first half, but they made it a lot more even in terms of possession, chances created, certainly goals scored.
But Blackburn will fancy this now against 10 men, won't they?
Most definitely. I mean, I think that the force is with them a wee bit, certainly without sending off, but I think that this is another good test and a good examination for these young players for Arsenal.
I think the phrase is steep learning curve. Done. Instead of fizz one across the face of goal, wasn't the worst idea.
I mean, you talk about steep learning curve, and you're right, but you just can't put a price on the experience that these young players are gaining tonight. You know, the fact that they were 2-0 ahead, they were playing really well. You know, then they've had to work hard just to stay in the game. Now they're into extra time with only 10 men. You know, it's a fantastic learning curve for them. What a great place to be learning.
Blackburn wretchedly out of form when the game began, have kind of played their way back into form as it's gone on. Maybe augurs well for their Christmas and New Year programme. They've got Chelsea at home, then Man City and Derby away, and then Sunderland here as their first fixture of the new year.
A bit flimsy of late, haven't they, over the last few months, and the results have certainly mirrored that.
Santa Cruz offside. Wasn't the worst finish though, was it, from him? Just the old cushion lob onto the bar for fun.
He wasn't composed enough, was he? How much did he cost?
3.3 million.
Not bad, is it, in today's market? Not bad at all.
It's made more impact than other arrivals from Bayern Munich in recent times in the Premier League. Aaron Hargreaves now finding his feet, of course, at Manchester United after his early injuries. Michael Ballack about to return, we understand, for Chelsea, maybe tomorrow night, I hear, against Liverpool, in that game we're going to show you on Sky Sports. Bentley. Here's Benny McCarthy. Nope, Savage isn't that quick. He would have needed to be entered in some kind of greyhound race, I think, to get that one.
That's been more his type of game, hasn't it, though, as in the second half, and I think extra time will be very similar. You know, he likes to hustle and bustle in that midfield area. Struggle to get close to anybody in the first 45 minutes.
League Cup winner with Leicester City, and played in another final that they lost as well. How do Arsenal play this with 10 men? Senderos with the header. Samba across to Ryan Nelson. It's been outstanding since half-time. Misunderstanding there. Benny McCarthy losing possession. Can Arsenal take advantage? Barazite. Diaby at the end where he scored to start it all off. This, by the way, is the ground where Arsene Wenger started his Arsenal reign back in 1996 with a 2-0 win. 600 odd games ago. Quite a lot has happened since.
lot of success on the way, but well, they should have had a free kick there on the tackle from Diara, and they're breaking quick now, Blackburn. Arsenal will point to that. Anything comes of this move.
Bentley, Santa Cruz. Paraguayan has been a wonderful signing for Blackburn, as Benny McCarthy was last year. 2.5 million and 24 goals. Even if he has been a little off the boil just lately, that could change. Diara missed out, and McCarthy's in here, flagged offside. Flag up, offside. Wouldn't have counted anyway.
Well, he had the option, didn't he, of both McCarthy and Santa Cruz. David Dunn just tries to slip this ball. Oh, it's a tight one. Just look at Justin Hoyt there. He's onside. He's onside. Didn't come to anything in the end, but could have been another poor decision.
So he was onside by a long way, wasn't he? See from the cut of the grass. Easy from here, mind you. Diara has just caught Bentner a little flat-footed on his way back there. Samba, hoping Reed can get on the end of it. Traore gets it away. Everybody wondering whether this is headed for penalties now. Maybe Arsenal would even settle for that, or would they? They missed the marking on Santa Cruz there. Luckily it fell to an Arsenal head in that 6-yard box. Dunn lost the ball. Song picks it up. Bentner's the only escape route, and there was a foul there, and it's Barazaidu's down, injured.
He's got a lot. Got a problem, hasn't he, to his left shoulder, Barazait. Well, he's just trying to work back, the young midfield player, just trying to protect his back foot as he goes to ground here. He certainly falls awkwardly. Sort of type of work rate that is going to be required now of a lot of these Arsenal players, just to protect that back foot. It doesn't look too good, does it, for the youngster?
Gary Lewin communicating with the bench, and looks like he's going to need a stretcher. Or Nasser Barazait.
Just wonder whether he's dislocated his shoulder there.
All right, let's hope not. But it does look bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, real concern for the kid. Great shame. He's come on as a substitute, hoping to show people what he's capable of doing at this level. So 1 or 2 nice touches, but in the main he's had to defend since he's been on the field of play. But the evening that seemed to start oh so well for Arsenal is now getting harder and harder for this group of players in terms of the way that Blackburn have pulled 2 goals back. Denilson sending off, and now lost another player through injury. It looks a serious one.
Yeah, there's some concern there about the young Dutch striker Nasser Barazait. Only 17, horrible thing to happen in only his 2nd game for the club as well.
He's in experienced hands, I mean, Gary Lewin, Arsenal and England physio, but it's certainly been a fantastic evening though, hasn't it? Some wonderful entertainment, some great goals.
Here's the first of them, scored by Abu Diaby.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest of finishes, but he kept his composure. That was great technique. Calmness personified. And then Blackburn get back into it. Dubious goal. You know, Derbyshire was offside, but this is a towering header from Santa Cruz. His 2nd goal of the evening. He's looked a real threat. And this is when the game could quite easily have changed now, in terms of Arsenal being down to 10 men. The sending off of Denilson, the young Brazilian, was a wild challenge. And it's a deserved red card.
And still Nasser Barazait receiving attention. It's going to be a late night here at Blackburn, that's for certain. Still the rest of extra time to be played, then the possibility of penalties. So we could be going on up towards 11 o'clock this evening. Could be. Fran Merida, who's involved in something of a transfer tug-of-war involving Arsenal and Barcelona. But an Arsenal player for the moment, anyway, coming the Cesc Fabregas route. He's going to come on, young Spaniard. He's only played a total of 3 minutes in the first team so far. 1 minute against Newcastle, 2 against Sheffield United in this competition. So, hey, in deep again.
Well, he is, but he's no different to a lot of these Arsenal youngsters. You know, good technical abilities, calm and composed on the ball. It's a chance for him. You know, he's got to make the most of it. Make himself a hero.
It's what you play for, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you want a chance, don't you? If you're a young player, you know, if you're confident in your abilities, which a lot of these Arsenal youngsters are, you know, give them a chance, give them an opportunity. This is a very, very sad sight, isn't it, for this youngster?
He's getting a warm round of applause, not only from the Arsenal supporters, but the Blackburn ones too, it should be said.
Replacing the injured.
The very best of luck to poor Nasser Barazai. Does look as if that's a nasty shoulder injury. And on comes Fran Merida, another 17-year-old. He did play in the final of the FIFA World Cup for that age group. Wenger just checking with Gary Lewin the extent of the damage. Let's hope he can make as quick a recovery as is possible from that injury.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, the worrying aspect as well is they're giving him oxygen as well as he left the field to play. I mean, he's clearly distressed, the youngster.
Drama continues. 2-2 in this quarter-final. Possibility still exists of an Arsenal-Spurs semi-final as we had last year in the competition. But Blackburn might have plenty to say about that. Roque Santa Cruz, wide for Morton Gaps Pedersen. McCarthy's in there! And somehow does not score, but the flag was up against him anyway, and he might actually be quite relieved about that now.
Well, I'd have been surprised if the flag didn't go up, because my first impressions are he's offside. Just look at his run there. I mean, he's miles offside. I mean, a player of his experience, I'm absolutely amazed that he hasn't just bided his time and waited till the right moment to get on the end of that cross.
Just not happening for Benny McCarthy at the moment. That could change in an instant given his pedigree, mind you. Clearly offside anyway. Stephen Reed to David Bentley. A hint of the David Beckham, isn't there, about David Bentley and his style. Santa Cruz again. Pedersen. There's a problem for Dunn here. I hope that's not another hamstring injury, or is it just a bit of cramp? Because he's had so many problems with injuries over the years as David Dunn, and he's been quite an influence as this has gone on.
Well, he pulled up quickly there. They're just looking at him quite anxiously from the touchline. It'd be a great shame if it is an injury. It looks as if he's just shrugged it off, though, so maybe it's just a touch of cramp. Covered an awful lot of ground, David Dunn, this evening.
I was just thinking it's a tough one, this for Stephen Reed as well, isn't it? Yeah. He's been out for 16 months till the weekend, his first start for 16 months, and here he is playing what we've had 103 minutes tonight he's had to play.
Well, the one thing is Stephen Reed's playing as a right back, so, you know, he's probably just going to hold his position. They're going to be overly ambitious getting forward.
Here's Eduardo. Samba scrambles it away. Which way is this one going to tilt? Has to be settled tonight. Song. Eduardo onside. Can he finish it? Oh, he's done it again! Eduardo for Arsenal. They might be down to 10 men, but they're 3-2 up, and he's got 2 of them.
I tell you what, this boy doesn't get flustered, does he? Once again, fantastic finish, but have Oh, look at the two centre-backs here. You know, Samba once again getting drawn into an awful position. The right-back, Stephen Rees, certainly playing Eduardo onside. But once he gets that ball ahead of him and onto his favoured left foot, then you expect this sort of finish. Terrific touch out of his feet. And what a precise, accurate, almost pass into the goal. And Brad Friedel can do absolutely nothing whatsoever. And I tell you what, Alex Song's played his part as well, because he's come out from the back with the ball, travelled 10 yards and slipped him a great pass.
He's an instinctive goal scorer, this Brazilian-born, now playing for Croatia. He got 34 goals in 32 games for Dinamo Zagreb last season. You can see why. He just passed that. He makes it look like shelling peas scoring, Eduardo. Brilliantly put away. And Arsenal are back in front again. What next here?
McAwain has gone on for David Dunn, so he'll just add a little bit of steel into the middle of the field, but they probably need more creativity at this point now. What sort of damage mentally will that have done to these Blackburn players? I mean, worked so hard to get back into this game.
What a prize moment though for Arsenal. Mark Hughes can't believe it. They were playing 10 men. It looked possibly there for the taking, not that it's ever that easy, of course, but Blackburn are behind again, and the ruthless finishing of Eduardo has done the damage.
Well, I don't think you'd like to see the video again, Mark Hughes, in terms of the way they've conceded goals tonight. Let's take nothing away from the finishes, because they've been of the highest quality.
Here's Eduardo again. He's now got 4 goals in the competition this season. 2 in the last round at Sheffield United, 2 here. Here's Diara. Arsenal looking to play keep ball, as you'd expect in this situation. Not easy, 10 against 11, mind. And that one's cut out by Morten Gamst Pedersen. Santa Cruz flicks it on, and Sanderos, bit of a misunderstanding momentarily between him and Fabianski, but they've made up for it now. Let's join Andy Burton down on the touchline. I think he's got some news on Nasser Barazite.
Yeah, we have, Ian. Dr. Balti and also Dr. Beasley, the Blackburn Rovers and Arsenal doctors respectively, and Blackburn's club orthopaedic surgeon are all in the treatment room at the moment next to the Arsenal dressing room. And Barazite has dislocated his shoulder. I can tell you though, he is sitting up and he looks to be okay. It was a pretty grim sight when he had that oxygen mask on, but he is sat up. It is a dislocated shoulder, but he should be able to travel back with the team, no problem.
Thank you very much indeed, Andy. That's the latest on the youngster. Let's hope everything's going to be all right for him. Bentley for Blackburn Rovers. Edison tries to find Santa Cruz. One nasty little fact for Blackburn is that in the last 5 games they've now conceded 14 goals.
Well, you can understand a lot of their problems when you look at the way they've defended at times this evening. Hasn't been good enough for this certain quality that they're playing against. I mean, full marks to this Arsenal side. You know, we talked about the character and personality, all the questions that people would have asked about this group of youngsters. Now, I know this game isn't finished by a long way yet. There's still probably a few twists and turns, but, you know, they've responded magnificently.
Mike Riley says, don't worry, I'm adding the time on. Blackburn come back again. It's going to be Bentley. Area. And over the top by Morten Gamst Pedersen. Couldn't keep his volley down.
Well, by his standards, this is a good chance. You know, it's on his favoured left foot. And Arsenal really struggled just to deal with a free kick. And with the quality that he has in his technique, then you're certainly surprised when he doesn't hit the target from there.
Scored in the last round against Portsmouth at Fran Park, Pedersen. It's a poor kick out by Fabianski, but Song has rescued him. It's amazing to think that Eduardo couldn't even get in the 16 for the Chelsea game on Sunday. I mean, what a player to have in reserve.
I mean, this is what I was saying earlier. You know, people talk about, you know, have Arsenal got enough strength and depth? Well, when you look at factors like that, you know, and the fact that Walcott wasn't in the 16, and, you know, there's other players that have come into the team tonight and done really well, like Diara, Diaby. You know, Song's been excellent at the back. Traore's given a great account of himself at left back. You know, they have got strength and depth, Arsenal. And I think certainly we've seen tonight that they've got the character and the personality to deal with some very difficult situations.
Eduardo's hunting this one down as well. Looking to use his body strength. He's a lot smaller than Samba, but they certainly know he's around tonight.
Those people are a lot smaller than Samba.
I grant you that. Half-time in extra time. Let's just recap what's happened so far, because a lot has happened.
Well, you can just see he's
joining us.
Well, he's urging and he's wanting his side just to give him another 15 minutes. But it started all so well, didn't it? This goal early on after 6 minutes wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but they deserved this 2-goal lead. They really did, and that was the first of a couple of clinical finishes from Eduardo. And then all of a sudden the game just turned on its head. You know, Blackburn really did up the tempo in the second half, and then Eduardo with his second goal in extra time. Once again, fantastic composure in front of goal.
Will he prove to be the difference on the night? Arsenal have only lost 2 games all season in all competitions. One in Seville and the other one recently at Middlesbrough, where they were frankly outplayed in an excellent Middlesbrough performance, but of a revival by Gareth Southgate's team. That's a loose touch that time by Eduardo, tracking back, and Blackburn maybe they'll take advantage. Bentley working his way across the box, clearly looking for the free kick, not getting it from Mike Riley, who had no hesitation in saying play on. Now here's Fran Merida for Arsenal to Nicholas Bentner. No, he's not going to get there. Brad Friedel will.
Just had too much on the pass, and there's big claims here at foul on David Bentley. He's always working hard and stumbling. Now, it's faintest of touches. But Alex Song did brilliantly. Not only did he win that challenge against David Bentley, but he's travelled a good 30-40 yards further forward, and that's still the ambition of this Arsenal side. Even though they're down to 10 men, and they still could quite easily sit on this lead. He's had a superb evening.
Yep, song on song for Arsenal, no doubt about that tonight. Bentley's not moving too cleverly now. Maybe he's the latest to feel a bit of cramp. This player's attuned to play for 90 minutes, so when it goes to 120, it becomes much harder, especially when you've got 10 men. Everybody back for Arsenal, every single player behind the ball, just as you'd expect. They've got one eye on the clock now. Bentley chips it up. Nelson won the header. Senderos got it away. It's fallen for Samba here. Looked like he was fouled on the edge of the box.
Well, Eduardo, it's a poor challenge from him. A couple of pieces of defending that's been sloppy on his part. I think he's looking a little bit weary at the moment. See, there's a poor first touch. That's just down to tiredness.
Yellow card for Eduardo.
Well, they'd fancy this, Blackburn. It's how much belief, though, the likes of Pedersen and Bentley have got from this set piece now. Hasn't been at his best. Pedersen this evening hasn't really had an impact on the game, but that could all change in one moment with that left foot of his.
This is a big moment. Pedersen might fancy this a lot with his left foot, but Bentley's there as well. He might be looking for a Beckham-style curler from that angle. Which one is it going to be? It's Pedersen. Oh, and it's just wide, with Fabianski scrambling nervously by his post.
Well, you can see the reaction of Pedersen, and certainly the reaction of Fabianski. Just gets a little bit too much curl. Probably a foot outside of Fabianski's left-hand post. He's scrambling across the young keeper.
Santa Cruz for Blackburn Rovers, for whom time is running out. Warnock chipping this one forward towards Morten Gans Pedersen. Bentley picks it up, trying so hard here to galvanise Blackburn into one last effort. They've got a corner. Sam has come forward from the back. McWayne is in there in front of the goalkeeper. Santa Cruz, of course. It's not a good corner.
That's a tired effort, isn't it, from David Bentley? I mean, he's better than that.
Bentley deflected, and Song was there. Corner kick, he got the last touch.
Great bit of defending. I mean, he gets himself in a good position here, Song, to deal with the cross, and it was a searching ball in from Bentley.
Now, the 20-year-old defenders had a mountainous match back there for Arsenal tonight, but there's more defending to do. It's another Pedersen corner, and this one onto the edge of the bar and over from Ryan Nelson.
Well, he's just trying to guide this back towards the far post. Isn't far away from doing it. He's under a lot of pressure from Song.
Now, just to clear up that incident earlier on, we now understand that it was Traore who got the booking a few minutes ago, and not Eduardo. Apparently the offence was for kicking the ball away. Certainly a foul by Eduardo on the edge, which looked like it might have been a yellow card, but that's what we're told anyway from the fourth official. Bentley kept that in. Fabianski's come for that. He had to win it and did. And that's a strange one from Eduardo, to put it mildly. Goodness me.
Didn't quite get his bearings there, didn't he? Certainly doesn't strike the ball like that when he's in front of goal.
I bet he couldn't do that again, nor would he want to, because it's a Blackburn corner. Eduardo was dispossessed there by McCarthy.
Well, he's really down on his feet now, Eduardo. He really is struggling to get through this game. Cramps setting in. He's been guilty of one or two mistakes, which is understandable.
Very, very tight. That's cramp in both legs. He's looked tired. He's looked out on his feet. I mean, it's not like he hasn't made his contribution, but at the moment,
I think if I was Arsene Wenger, I think I'd just play him up top and let Nicholas Bentner fill in on that left-hand side. It looks as if he's got a little bit more energy, Bentner.
Arsenal intent now on defending. They'll have a fair bit more to do. Blackburn will still believe. Managed to get this one away. Bentley plays it forward. They're hoping it'll drop to a blue and white half shirt. It doesn't. Arsenal have some respite. Looks like Kieran Gibbs may be coming on for Arsenal. He played in the last round, played very well too at Sheffield United. Young man who took the eye in the FA Youth Cup, scoring in both legs of the semi-final last season.
Just might need a little bit of energy over on that left-hand side, and Eduardo just signalling to the bench that he's okay at the moment, but they certainly won't want to take any chances.
Benny McCarthy! Wouldn't go in for Blackburn Rovers. That was a big moment.
That's a terrific challenge, isn't it, against Song. Christopher Samba there winning the header. It sits up beautifully. The angle's a little bit against him. But once again, with his quality, you'd have expected him to hit the target from there.
It was a long way wide in truth. Diara gets the free kick, Arsenal. And I thought they might take their time taking it, but they don't. Merida. Diara. If anyone's entitled to get cramp, it would be him. He really has covered every blade. Traore. Not going to quite work. Bit of a luxury touch by young Merida. You could see what the idea was.
Well, they've thrown Samba up top now, Blackburn Rovers. Their desperation to get this equaliser.
6.5 minutes. Arsenal, remember, have reached the semi-finals in 4 of the last 5 seasons. They will have done anyway, should they win this tonight. It's Eduardo to Bentner. Merida. Nothing doing that time. Now then, what can Blackburn come up with by way of a riposte? Pedersen. Tiredness will take its toll now. Diara is the player down.
He just gets caught, doesn't he, from Pedersen, but he really has given a monumental performance in midfield for Arsenal tonight. Covered an awful lot of ground. It's been difficult, I think, for him, certainly in the second half. First half, he really did command that area of the field.
Replaced by 34, Kieran Gibbs.
Gibbs, who plays wide on the left of midfield usually, can play left back. Eduardo is coming off, is absolutely exhausted, suffering from cramp, but he scored 2 super cool goals.
He's done his bit, hasn't he, for the cause. He can be very pleased with his performance, but he has looked tired over the last 10 minutes or so. Kieran Gibbs, who played actually at left back in the previous round at Sheffield United, but he just slotted over on that left-hand side of midfield, and it's an area where it's more familiar for him.
Bentner got a little flick on. Push, Arsenal gain more time, and that clock top left of your picture ticks away towards 30 minutes. You have to say, if Arsenal did do this, it would be a phenomenal win for them, really, having been reduced to 10 men with the score at 2-2 and extra time looming.
Well, they've shown different sides of their game, haven't they, tonight? I thought in the first 45 minutes, truly outstanding the way they passed the ball around. The second half, they really have had to battle and dig in at times.
Senderos has got to clear that. Everybody back again behind the ball except Bentner this time. It's a little slip by Merida. It's allowed Morten Gamps Pedersen to get the ball in. They're claiming a handball. Mike Riley says it hit the chest. And here's Bentner. Santa Cruz. They've had 5 goals from him in the last few days. What they'd give for a 6th. Ryan Nelson. Samba, can he finish it here? Not quite. Pedersen might here. Is this the equaliser? What a block! That is a phenomenal bit of play to deny the Norwegian.
I'll tell you what, not only on one occasion, but 2 occasions, Justin Hoyt does absolutely brilliant here, because that's an important stop, and this is even more important because he just throws himself both Samba and Pedersen. Mark Hughes knows that they wouldn't have got too many big chances before the end of this game, and they're two massive moments for his side.
There still might be another one, because here comes the corner kick. Fabianski grabs it, and the Arsenal fans at the far end of the ground go into raptures about that. But Blackburn have had their chances here. Here's Kieran Gibbs. Sensible ball to Bentner. Still going. It's a great ball in as well. Nobody followed it in. Marida was there attacking it. It wouldn't quite fall for him, but Blackburn there almost fatally lost concentration, and that would have been that. As it is, they have another chance to rescue this. Pedersen's cross goes a long way. Senderos gets it away. It's been a titanic struggle here at Ewood Park tonight. It really has. Bentley plays it in. Senderos away. And now there's a minute remaining. Can Blackburn do it? Pedersen, given all the time he wants to get his cross. Oh, he's hit the post there, Samba, with his header. Oh, can you believe that?
Well, there's bodies lying on the ground everywhere. And Stephen Warnock's in some real trouble on this near side, but how close was that for a dramatic equaliser? Big Christopher Samba, who's just been pushed up front over the last 10 minutes or so, as they're just searching and trying to get a way back into this game. And they very nearly got that. They're really having to hang on now.
Brad Friedel, the only goalkeeper in Blackburn's history to score a league goal for them, has come forward. Remember, he did it at Charlton one day in a dramatic finish. He thought he'd equalise, and Charlton went to the other end and got a winner even then. Warnock is the player down. Meanwhile, just to add to the drama, we're having to wait for what is surely the last attack from Blackburn of the match. You'd think so anyway. No, there's going to be another 2 minutes, so maybe not.
Substitutions.
Defender Zurab Kizanashvili comes on. The referee wave a yellow card at Mokwena in there. Something or other, it looked like it. We'll check that. Here comes the corner kick. Fabianski, great punch.
Well, that was one of the biggest moments of the young goalkeeper has had this evening. That was an important punch.
Friedel stayed up. Flags up. Arsenal are nearly there. I think Arsene Wenger would be very, very proud of these youngsters if they were to pull this off, because it looked to be tilting Blackburn Rovers' way when they brought it back to 2-2, and then Denilson was sent off.
Number 9, Roque Santa Cruz.
Well, they get wrapped up in cotton wool now, don't they? Ready for the semi-finals. A lot of these youngsters, if they do see this through, which looks as if it's going to happen.
Reed, they need to get it forward quickly now. Mike Riley glances at his watch. Surely the last attack, Samba stayed forward. Of course he has. Kizanashvili, the late substitute, in towards Samba in there. There was a push by him. Arsenal have a free kick, and that might just about be it. This looked a very, very tough draw for Arsenal, fielding a second-string side, but it seems as if they are about to go through. Mike Riley blows, and Arsenal reach the semi-finals of the Carling Cup for the 4th time in 5 seasons under Arsene Wenger. It's a big, big performance, maybe none more so than Lassana Diara, the midfield man. Alex Song at the back was terrific as well. 2 goals from Eduardo, 1 from Diaby, 2 from Roque Santa Cruz for a brave Blackburn who fought and clawed their way back, had the chances to level it. Justin Hoyt with a marvellous block at the end to preserve the lead. And after what's been a terrific tie here in the Carling Cup quarter-final, Arsenal are through. They beat Blackburn Rovers by 3 goals to 2.
It was an epic encounter, wasn't it? Absolutely wonderful entertainment. And look at the Arsenal fans who travelled north just 48 hours after they played Chelsea at the weekend, and they have been rewarded in terrific style by these Gunners. Through to the semi-finals of the Carling Cup, and a few are going to make the long trip back south with some well-earned souvenirs. Fantastic stuff. So we know that Arsenal are through to the last 4 of the Carling Cup. So too are Spurs, so too are Everton, who will complete the quartet. You can find out tomorrow. Chelsea against Liverpool, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1, and that will be followed immediately by the semi-final draw. So still the prospect of potentially Arsenal against Spurs and Liverpool against Everton in the semi-finals of the Carling Cup. We'll get the views when we come back of Alan Smith and Jason McAteer. It was a terrific performance by Arsenal's kids, wasn't it? It was the oldest gunner with the coolest head who settled it, Eduardo.
Christmas Day on Sky Sports.
All aboard the showboat.
Pants on.
Are you single?
Yeah.
I love Christmas.
We feel good, dude. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Mess, I'm catching it. Move further away.
Unbelievable, Jack. He's hit that like a train.
Good morning.
Christmas Day on Sky Sports.
Conquered the skies. Conquered Mount Everest. Conquered the neck. The new Philips Architect. The first Philips shaver with a flexible head that rotates more fully, so it helps you easily get a close shave, even on the neck. Simplicity is making hard-to-reach places easy to reach.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider Anniversary, out now on Wii.
Around the world, Lexmark helps 75% of the world's top banks and retailers to get more done. And now Lexmark can help you at home too. With our wide range of state-of-the-art wireless inkjet printers, you can print from wherever you work best. Put the freedom of Lexmark award-winning wireless printers to work for you.
Classic Friends.
I've had a very long, hard day. I'm gonna go get some chicken. You want some? Can I get a 3-piece, some coleslaw, and some beans, and a Coke? Diet Coke.
Out on DVD now.
Good things should never end. That's why at Orange we now offer unlimited free text to any network at any time with Orange Pay As You Go.
Everything you see is interest-free?
Not when you got a few bob on 1-0, love. Go!
Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Well, we anticipated it would be a rough and tumble, blood and thunder contest between two sides who, frankly, in the past haven't looked to care for each other too much, but it exceeded all our expectations. Arsenal surging into a 2-goal lead in total control and playing beautiful football. But then Blackburn called on their considerable fighting spirit and resolve. Back they came to force extra time. But despite the fact the young Gunners were down to 10 men, it was they who prevailed. Fantastic effort from them. Let's hear from the man of the match, who's Lassana Diara. He and Nicholas Bentner are talking with Andy Burton.
Nicholas, just how hard a test was that for you guys out there tonight?
Oh, I thought it was a very hard game. Obviously, we came in front 2-0 and thought everything was going well, which it was. And then all of a sudden, Blackburn got back in the game and gave us a really, really tough game.
At 2-0, should you have closed the game out there?
I thought we kept playing quite well, but obviously they got a goal and they were back in it, and then it was an open game again. But in the end, we fought and we got the game in our hand and won.
The man next to you put in a man-of-the-match performance tonight. Just how important was he in the centre of midfield?
Oh, he played really well, very important. He ran all the time, even in extra time, non-stop. I thought he played a very good game.
Lassana, your chances at Arsenal have been limited so far. Did you feel you had a point to prove tonight?
Yes, we proved a lot tonight. It was a very difficult game. I think we are very happy tonight because it was a difficult game.
But for you personally, did you want to show the manager what you could do?
Yes, but the manager knows I don't have a problem. I'm happy tonight. The game was good. I enjoy when I'm playing. It's okay.
How hard was it out there against Blackburn, particularly in the second half?
Yes, it's difficult because Denilson sent half, but I think we've done well.
Nicholas, it's a learning curve for you young players. How important is the Carling Cup to what you're trying to achieve here?
No, it's an important cup for us. You know, we've been in the semi-final and the final the last 2 years, and it looks like we keep improving, and this year we want to go for it and really win it.
Tottenham have got through tonight. Just how much would you relish a North London derby in your next game?
That would be okay. We're meeting them already on Saturday, but I don't care who we draw. We know what we got to do, and we got to do it in the next game as well.
And just finally, is there belief in the dressing room that you can win this competition this year?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Lassana is the Carling man of the match. Will you do the honours and present the champagne for us? Well done, boys.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
That was a monumental effort, wasn't it? Alan Smith and Jason McAteer have been watching with me. I know they've beaten Newcastle and Sheffield United in the previous rounds, Alan. But was tonight the night that Arsenal's kids, if you like, came of age?
Well, we have been saying that for a while now, haven't we? But, I mean, on paper, you look at the team that Arsene Wenger picked up against Mark Hughes' strongest side, effectively, and Ewood Park, we know he's a tough place to go. But those first 10-15 minutes, they really stamped their authority on it and showed the crowd and the players, the Blackburn players, that they were up for it. And they showed a lot of fighting spirit as well as technical ability tonight.
I mean, at one stage, certainly after the first 28 minutes, it looked like it was going to be a no contest. Was it Arsenal in front inside the first 5?
Yeah, I was impressed with the Arsenal kids, really, because it was two kind of halves they played. You know, the first half was total domination. They got the 2 goals. Unfortunately, they conceded right at the death, and it put them in a real different game. In second half, Blackburn really come at Arsenal. They closed the space down. They stopped Diara getting on the ball, and they made it really difficult for Arsenal to do anything, really. Made them make a lot more mistakes, and that's when Blackburn got really back into it with the equalising goal.
Here's the opening goal, and at that stage, Arsenal were knocking it around really at will. Shortly after this, in fact, they'd hit the woodwork as well. Nicholas Bentner against the woodwork, and then second goal from Eduardo, who looks to be an utterly ruthless clinical finisher.
Yes. He doesn't play a big part in the build-up at times. I mean, tonight you could count it on the fingers of one hand when he really joined in and had an effect. But he's just gets into these positions, and you've got so much confidence that he isn't going to miss, and he seems to have the same attitude.
Hasn't scored in the Premier League, and he doesn't seem short in confidence when he gets in those positions.
No, well, he hasn't had too many opportunities, has he? I mean, he scored a few in the Champions League and, of course, in the Carling Cup, but no doubting about his finishing abilities. It's just whether he can contribute during general play in the big league matches.
He doesn't get despondent either. He keeps going, keeps hanging on the shoulders of centre-halves and stuff, and when he gets his chances, he finishes fantastic.
I mean, he drifted out to the left for large parts in the second half, and you thought, oh, he's gone, and the ball kept coming back off him. But then he drifts inside all of a sudden, finds a bit of space, bang.
Mark Hughes has to have been pleased with the side's battling qualities. I mean, we knew they had them, of course.
They couldn't get near them first half, and Arsenal were brilliant.
They just snatched that lifeline at the end of the first half, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. A bit of luck. It was offside. Great cross, great finish, and it got them right back into it. And they went up. They went in with the tails up. And Mark Hughes, he would have got round them and told them that, you know, to grow up a bit, stop sulking, and come on, we're not playing against Arsenal's first team at the end of the day. You know, this is a bunch of kids and you should be doing better. And I felt that's what they did second half. They come out, they got in Arsenal's faces, they made Arsenal make a lot more mistakes, and that's when they picked the ball up and got at them. And yeah, they deserve something out of the game, to be fair.
Santa Cruz, 5 goals in 2 games for him now. Looks a bit of a bargain, to be honest, doesn't he, Alan?
He does, yeah. I mean, he went through that little dry patch, 6-7 games without scoring, but come back with a vengeance. He's a natural finisher, good in the air. I mean, he suits the Premier League because of that ability of his to climb and compete in those aerial challenges, and it just shows the confidence has come flooding back through him. And with Benny McCarthy struggling a bit, they've needed him the last couple of games.
Did you feel at that stage that Blackburn looked the more likely winners?
Yeah, second half they were well on top, and I think you said, Jason, the Arsenal lads looked exactly what they are, inexperienced kids, and it was going all one way. It was a blue and white tide, and you thought this is only going to end up with one result. But yeah, Arsenal came back again. They dug in, found something from somewhere, and got the winner.
What about the red card, Jason? Could Arsenal have had any complaints about that?
I don't think so. He's dived in. He'd already been booked. It was a daft challenge on the fact that he'd already been booked. But the ball's, you know, Dunny's won the ball, and it was 2-footed. And then, typical Robbie Savage getting involved.
Kind of tackle he makes every day of the week,
yeah, and I think the melee didn't help. And yeah, it was a red card for me.
I think it was just the series of tackles. He's got a rush of blood to the head, hasn't he, Denilson? He's dived in, and the occasions overtook him a little bit. I could argue it should have been a second yellow, I don't know, but he's off. That's the main thing.
Well, it was a passionate, full-blooded encounter, wasn't it? No question about that. First opportunity, really, in added time, and again, it fell from the Blackburn perspective to the man they didn't want it to fall to in Eduardo. The Song has made a terrific run from the back as well.
He has. I mean, Song made 1 or 2 little errors at centre-half, betraying the fact that, you know, he's an orthodox midfielder who's filling in there. But that's a lovely ball by Alexander Song. Great credit to him. And the first touch is immaculate, just to take it forward into his path. Only needs 2 touches, and the second one is the killer. Brad Friedel's faced him twice tonight and had no chance on each occasion.
Blackburn central defenders have had another evening, though, that they won't want to remember for too long.
Yeah, Sparky will be watching a video tomorrow, and he won't be happy with a bit of the defending that was going on. Certainly the second goal, I thought Samba, you know, should have done better. He's made a mistake and it's cost them, but that's what happens when it's not going right for a football club like Blackburn at the minute. The mistakes are being cost with goals, and it's something he needs to address. And you know, it's a tough game against Chelsea. They're going to be up against it again, and it's going to be tough for them. But Sparky needs to pick them up. They've got to go again Saturday and see what they can get.
Well, just about everybody was out on their feet in the dying seconds, and in fairness, Blackburn created 1 or 2 chances that they just couldn't quite take.
Yeah, there was the incident at the far post where you thought it was going to be a definite goal, and Samba trying to swivel on a sixpence there, couldn't quite manage it. Justin Hoyt doing really well both times then to get his head to that shot. But it was all Blackburn, wasn't it?
I just thought they lost the impetus in extra time. I thought, you know, the second half, the pace and the passion was there, and then it was stop-start. We had the sending off right at the death, and then the change around and everything, and the pace just dropped out of Blackburn a little bit. And Arsenal, even though they had 10 men, they still knocked it around well, and obviously they scored the winner. The chances we've just seen there were a bit scrambled and sort of at the death. But
would have taken a lot out of those Blackburn players, because the majority are going to be playing against Chelsea. I know they've got a few days, but Arsenal can switch it around again for the Spurs North London derby on Saturday, whereas Blackburn have got to go again. There's plenty of fighting spirit to work on. I mean, there's no doubt about the character in the side. I just think they need a result and a change of fortune.
It's been a fantastic 3 days for Arsene Wenger, hasn't it? Let's hear from him now. Here he is with Andy.
Arsene, just how stern a test of your young players was that tonight?
It's a big test because we had everything, you know, 2-0 up. They come back to 2-2. They made it very passionate and very committed. And then when our football was not speaking anymore, we had to give something else, like the character. And when 10 against 11, we found the resources to score a 3rd goal, and that's really promising for such young players.
Were you disappointed that they let Blackburn into the game?
Yes, of course, but I know before the game where you have somewhere a little bit lack of experience, because they're very, very young today. But we have shown quality, and but not only quality. We could dig deep and win when it was difficult, and that's very good.
Blackburn were almost unrecognisable in the second half from what they showed in the first half. Were you surprised at their turnaround?
Not really, because, you know, at some stage they'll try to come back into the game, and just before half-time came back to 2-1, you know, and then, you know, the storm will come in the first 20 minutes of the second half, but they came back to 2-2, but then we didn't give in, you know, we kept battling, and in the end we got the third goal.
The referee was somewhat in the spotlight tonight after some of the comments from Mark Hughes yesterday. Ironically, one of your players was sent off. Were you disappointed with this challenge?
Yes, but he didn't touch him. He should not have done the challenge, and gave him a red card. He gave him a red card. It's a good. I think it's more impulsive reaction than wanting to harm the player. But you can speak to Savic. I don't think he touched him, but it's a red card because he shouldn't have tackled like that.
And what about the belief in the dressing room about this competition? You came so close last year. Can you do it this year?
We want to do it. We want to finish the job what we started last year. We have a good opportunity now. We're in the semi-final, 2 games, 2 interesting games again, and but let's recover first because the boys gave everything tonight.
And whoever you face in the next round, will you keep playing these kids?
You know my answer.
I'm sure you will.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Something to look forward to for them then. Arsenal safely through to the last 4 of the Carling Cup. What about their North London neighbours, Spurs, playing Manchester City this evening? Let's hear how they did. Here's Kevin Keatings.
An eventful game in which referee Steve Bennett, who so upset Roy Keane at the weekend, was never far from the centre of attention. Spurs ahead as early as the 5th minute. Jermaine Defoe starting for the first time under Wandy Ramos for the injured Darren Bent, finishing off a superb move involving Genus and Lennon. Steed Malbranc should have made it 2 shortly after. Tottenham absorbed the loss of Didier Zokora to a straight red card after 20 minutes following a 2-footed challenge on Ilano. Wandy Ramos then sacrificed goalscorer Defoe in a tactical switch, bringing on Tainho. Malbranc was lucky not to get a straight red on 26 minutes for an almost identical challenge to that of Zokora. Steve Bennett waved on this occasion only a yellow card. On the night, City introduced new loan signing Neri Castillo to the crowd before the match. City had so much possession in the second half, but were restricted to headers from Vassell, which produced a brilliant save from Robinson, and a Bianchi header cleared off the line by Kabul. Malbranc then wrapped it up 7 minutes from time after superb work from the